Things are pretty good. Let me tell you something. I've been a fan since before you were a member of Congress. You've turned into a heck of a star. You have gone after and helped defund PBS, NPR, all the fun stuff.
We got that done.
Now you're at the forefront of stopping what I would call an invasion of Texas.
It's coming through the.
There is I think we have an H-1B problem in the state.
Sounds like it is.
Even at the forefront we do. I mean, this affects affecting districts like yours, which is a little bit.
It's definitely
Your district is kind of more north of Fort Worth, Dallas, right?
That's right. Yep.
And you wouldn't expect massive amounts of immigration in those areas, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And they're abusing the system.
Okay, great.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Or not
Yeah,
I'd
put it this way. If you want to talk about the H-1B program,
Yeah.
this is a program that was originally designed to fill kind of niche labor needs. It's kind of there's a specific job that requires a very specific skill set that we don't have in the U.S. for whatever reason. So we're going to bring somebody in. It is just totally morphed into something completely different. Now it is a system that is used oftentimes explicitly just under. And you see that, and that's before you're even talking about H-1B program, by the way. This is just how the program is effectively operates. That's not what it was designed. That's not good for the American people. Nobody would have voted for it. The American people certainly would have voted for that if they had known that was going to be the result. Putting that aside, you've got large areas H-1B businesses whose sort of primary goal is to bring in cheap labor.
Literally,
and they're doing that as using this as sort of backdoor immigration, and that's a problem.
Well, there are now investigative journalists they're kind of floating around everywhere. I saw some in Denton. I think there were some in Frisco, where you're going to houses that claim to be a business that have like anywhere from 16 to like 40 H-1B visas out of them.
Yeah.
It's why have we just not paid attention to this?
Yeah, it's one of those things. There is a very powerful lobby for H-1B programs. There are a lot of businesses that use them. Oftentimes, again, that's for cheap labor, who are going to oppose any kind of H-1B reform. I think as conservatives, we got to be pretty clear that we don't just represent businesses, which we do, and we're Republicans, we're pro-business, but we represent American workers too, and the American people. And oftentimes, the American people whose wages are being suppressed by programs like this, they don't have expensive lobbyists come to Washington to represent them. That's our job to do that. We're the ones who are elected to represent them, and we ought to do that. So it's my view that at this point the H-1B program ought to be abolished outright due to the enormous volume of fraud in Frisco. Some of the areas in North Texas is where you see a lot of that, more so than in most of the country. Whenever the program is used in a way that's not fraudulent, again, oftentimes it's done explicitly to undercut American wages. I mean, to give the perfect example of that, we don't need 7-Eleven workers coming into the United States on an H-1B.
No, we have enough Americans. We have enough kids
to be able to take those jobs and like actually work. And I worked at a bingo hall for 14 years. They can work at a 7-Eleven. It's fine. It's fine. It does pretty well. It just and your ex-count, by the way, you have been on the forefront of this to the point that like I didn't know about a lot of the stuff that was happening. I saw something where they were like dumping a bunch of weird milk into a lake, and it's like, why aren't we supposed to like care about our environment? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, there's something about immigration policy has always been predicated on a few different ideas historically until a few decades ago. One of them was cultural assimilation, meaning whenever you come into the United States, you were expected to adopt American customs and revere American history and culture the same way that we do as Americans. And whenever you start bringing in massive numbers of people who don't, you create social problems, and on many different fronts. And I think that's something we ought to be aware of. It's not the politically correct thing we talk about a lot of times, that different cultures don't always mesh as easily together as one might hope. But that's kind of a reality that we need to face.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're actually bringing light to it. I've gotten to kind of follow your career because you're one of the. I think I got one of your first interviews when you first came in. You had just put your office together. What has been your experience so far being a member of Congress? Has there been anything that shocked you along the way?
it's always a little interesting once you get here and start working within the actual legislative process. How you get a bill from conception to the finish line.
It's not like the cartoon. I'm just a bill. It doesn't just work like that.
No, it's you always think a bill starts in the House and then it goes to the Senate and then it goes to the presidency, and it's kind of a clean process. I've got a great idea. I'm going to introduce a bill. It doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bill starts in the Senate. Sometimes it starts in the House. There's a lot of politicking that goes into that process, for better or for worse. It's just how it operates. So it's been kind of enlightening seeing that on the ground.
Yeah, and I mean, the back and forth with things like the SAVE Act that need to be passed, whatever. I mean, has there been a disappointment so far in your time here? I mean, because again, you come in as a private citizen. Life was pretty good. You could have been doing something much more fun than this, and now there's all of this kind of mess that's happening. Like, what's
whenever I first came in, somebody, I can't remember who it was, but gave me some advice. They said, we always say here, Democrats are the adversaries and the Senate is the enemy. And it feels like that sometimes. And the Save America Act is the best example of that. I think something that the American people are begging for right now. Something that it fits right in with the agenda that we ran for the last election cycle. We passed it out of the House twice. It's sitting in the Senate right now. It's being held up because of the legislative filibuster, which I think most Americans are starting to think pretty critically about. We're at a point where the legislative filibuster is not being used, or the filibuster in the Senate isn't being used to allow the Senate to be the deliberative body, which is how the Senate was designed. It was designed to be a slower body than the House. The House is much closer to the American people. We're, a bit more of a raucous body than the Senate. But the legislative filibuster in the Senate is now holding up legislation, not extending debate, not making legislation more thoughtful, but is simply grinding legislation to a halt. And that's a problem. And I think that's a problem that for the Senate as an institution, one of the defenses of the filibuster that you hear a lot from especially in Washington, D.C., really only in Washington, D.C., is that we need to protect the institution of the Senate. Well, I think that the legislative filibuster is undermining the Senate as an institution, because it means that senators, instead of doing real legislative work and really thinking hard about bills that the American people are wanting, just aren't doing anything. There are much. It really has created legislative problems. I mean, we were elected to pass bills. We're elected to do things, not to sit around whenever 80-10 issues or 80-20, issues are being held up.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you know more about the government process than most of your colleagues? Because it really feels like just in that last little bit of conversation, I'm like, man, you know more about the process than I think a lot of the folks that are out here.
Try to. I mean, that's our job, is to understand.
Yeah, it should be.
Try to.
I've met a couple of them. I won't name names, but anyway, Representative Gill, always a pleasure talking with you. I know you're a popular man around here, and you got to go hit a bunch of places today. But dude, I love watching you grow, and eventually, when you're president, I just want to be like Secretary of Labor. Okay, no big deal. All right.
You got it.
All right, I'm holding you to that. Thank you so much. Yeah, good seeing you. Yeah. So that's going to kick off our new media day here in Congress. We're hanging out with the Republican Study Committee, and he's my favorite, by the way, and also one of the few members of Congress I can pick out of a lineup. A lot of these guys kind of start to look alike after a while. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I'm allowed to say that. But one of the best, and one of the people who I wish we could clone more of and have in Congress, a guy who understands what he's doing, he understands how to represent his district, and he understands what it means in this legislative process and where his place is to push these important things. So by the way, I'm hearing everybody else now. Now, this is why I need headphones, by the way. I just thought about it, because I'm hearing everybody else talking. My ADHD, it's really kicked in. But we're going to have a really, really busy day today. We have coming up with us next Randy Fine. We've got Addison McDowell coming in, Bob Onder, Mike Karadopoulos, should be a good one, Craig Goldman, Corey Mills, who I think is going to be a very fun interview at 1 o'clock today, Tim Burchett, who I want to talk to about aliens. He's got a lot of questions. I've got a lot of questions. He's got a lot of questions, too, apparently, about what he's seen. He says it'll keep you up at night. So I want to know what he's seen. I think that's a very simple question for him to answer. Maybe there's Decepticons. We don't know. Dark Side of the Moon. It's the second Transformers movie. That's where we got a lot of our technology apparently. Then we've got Rep. Stutzman and then Greg Stubbe to end out the day. And who knows who else is coming through. I know a couple of senators are coming through. But a great day today with the Republican Study Committee hanging out here with For America, a kickoff really of a partnership between Tim Runs His Mouth and ForAmerica. I have loved their work for a long time. They are the premier, I'd say, meme makers and commentators in all of politics. And it's fun to finally have a little team up with these guys, a great team over there. And you know, they're about 3 hours out of DC, and they took the long hike in this morning in traffic. I think it was 8 hours for you to get in today. But we're going to be here all day long, having a great time, hanging out with everybody. Waiting now on Congressman Fine. But I like doing these. It's really fun to come hang out in the media room. We really can't swing a camera around. We've got, what's his name from CNN next to us? What's his name? Scott Jennings. He's right there. How about that? We got them all here. All the big stars are here. What's his name? So-and-so. Really, the big star we've got is Curtis Houck hanging out here. He's a fellow there that has to watch every press briefing and monitors the media more than I would ever imagine. The psychology behind that. We got Sean Spicer apparently is going to be here at some point as well, or at least there's just a sign for a show. We don't know. We don't know who shows up on these things. But I'm very excited. If you guys have any comments or questions, I don't know if you have the commentary turn going over there, but if people have comments or questions, you can ask them, and we are here to answer them. So there we go. Let me get this pinned on my page. If you are watching this, by the way, and if you want to hit the retweet button, that'd be a big help, or share it on your page. If you're on the Facebook, I'm going to welcome you guys into this. Let's see here. I'm going to make the... make sure you guys are sharing it around today. What is happening? I'm going to share that. There we go. So if you get a chance, hit the retweet button, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you have any questions for the congressman, again, who we have coming up next, we have Randy Fine. Boy, oh boy. Randy Fine from Florida 6, and then Addison McDowell after him. It's going to be a busy day today at Congress. And we have a neat little thing that everybody's signing as they go for the signing. A memorial placard, I think. Is that what they're called? A memorial placard that they'll be signing for us today. So, hanging out with you guys today. What's happening in the news? We've got the big Virginia vote tonight while we're hanging out here. The redistricting plan, where Virginia is immediately, the Democrats took office and they're immediately trying to steal Congress by gerrymandering their entire state. That is on the ballot tonight for the citizens of Virginia, and I just hope the conservatives and normal people, show up and vote against that tonight. But who knows? We'll see how that goes. That's going to be happening. When do polls close for that? 8 o'clock? 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock? So we'll find out about that later on tonight to see if Virginia then has a court battle on their hands or someone has done the right thing. Congressman Fine is coming in right now. Let's get ready. Let's go. What's going on, man?
I wish I could wear a baseball hat.
You
know,
could.
I have to wear this little hat. I wish I could wear a baseball hat.
Fine.
You know.
I mean, I could. They make Mets versions of your hat that I could get.
I'd get in trouble on the floor. So.
Really?
Oh yeah, we have a dress code.
Even in the Senate they have it too. There's that guy that wears the hoodies and the shorts all the time.
If I understood the Senate, we'd get a lot more done around here.
Yeah, that's true. What is going on? Why are we not passing the same?
I don't know. I mean, you have to ask them. I think it is because they're more concerned about 1970s era Senate policies than they are the country. That's all I can come up with. You know, the filibuster's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. It's just something that they created a few decades ago to say every bill requires 60 votes to pass now. And it's going to be the end of our country if we don't deal with it.
It really is. And we are just... I feel like we're politing ourselves into extinction.
Politing ourselves, that's a great term. You know what I say here? I've been here a year. My observation is Democrats are ruthless in trying to destroy the country.
Yes.
And Republicans just want to manage our decline politely.
And that
is, we must take the higher road, I'm told all the time. No, you meet them where they are. And you fight. That's why they hate me so much, because I fight like a Democrat. And I don't know why we don't. Taking the higher road is a loser.
So I got to talk to you about this because, of course, it's on the ballot tonight. I was just mentioning it before you sat down. Virginia tonight has that vote to repeal their insane gerrymandering that they're trying to push. That literally, they pushed it and they brought that to a vote within a month of taking power. Like, they didn't mess around when they got into power in Virginia. Why are Republicans so polite?
Well, I'm not, so
I know, but
I can't answer
deal
that.
with all these other.
I don't know, because I think that Republicans have a hard time understanding the evil that we're dealing with. This is not your father's, this is not your grandfather's party. Look, and I get it all the time. I punch hard. Why can't you be nicer about it? Why can't you be more polite? Because the future of our country is at stake. And they're willing to do anything in support of their goals, and I don't know why we're not willing to do the same. It's a huge frustration to me.
Well, I can't imagine how frustrating it was because just a few weeks ago, it feels like years ago because of how our news cycle goes, you stood up when there was a representative part of Mamdani's campaign or his administration who said that we should start to consider getting rid of dogs.
Yep.
And you'd said you'd choose dogs over Muslims. I don't think that's controversial.
It's not controversial.
But a lot of your colleagues who are on the polite side are like, oh my God, oh, they were clutching the pearls. They were, busy stroking their beards when they were thinking about, their deep thoughts or whatever. They pulled the pipe out and they took their monocle down and they go, oh, how dare you offend Muslims. Do people in Congress, do other members of Congress, do other members of the Senate not understand how close we are to just losing this country and losing Western civilization?
I don't think they do. I think people sometimes live in the world the way they wish it was, not the way it actually is. And I do believe a lot of my colleagues do not understand the threat that we are under. They don't understand. They don't look at New York. I mean, look, I look at what's happened in Western Europe. We are on a path to become like Western Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Western Europe's economy doesn't grow. Their population is collapsing. Mainstream Islam has taken over. I mean, we have the King of England coming here next week to give us lectures. I stopped listening to those in 1776. I mean, it's crazy.
Now, does he have to take a break for the call to prayer 5 times a day?
I don't know. What I can tell you is I won't be there. So, but it is this desire. What we allow the other side to do is to use our values to force theirs on us. And I guess I came from a world. My worldview was set when I was 9 or 10 years old, and I read Diary of Anne Frank for the first time. And I remember disagreeing with her at the end of the book when she said, "Deep in my heart, I still believe that all people are good." And I remember even being 9 thinking, I don't believe that. I think most people are bad.
Yeah.
And I think that when you have that worldview, that we're not all the same, that we're not one giant human family, that we don't all share the same values, that there's evil in this world and you have to fight it every day, that's how we fight back. But I think too many of my colleagues fall trapped to the trap of compassion. We had it last week with infinity. We had people vote for infinity illegal Haitian migrants on welfare because compassion. That's it, because compassion. And then they all have kids. Well, then we can't send any of them home because compassion. I guess I come from a world of math, and I realize we live in a world of unlimited wants and limited means, and our country is going to collapse. People need to understand that in the lifetime of our children, America will exist. I'll tell you a story. I met with a guy last week who said to me, because I'm Jewish and I'm so outspoken, he goes, "Randy, I know that protecting Israel and making sure Israel survives is your number one priority, and I respect that." And I said, well, I appreciate you saying that, but it's not true. I believe 50 years from now, Israel will still be there. I'm not worried about the future of Israel. I'm not convinced 50 years from now, we will still be here. If we continue down, and so that is what keeps me up at night. And what keeps me up at night is that not enough of my colleagues are as afraid as I am. I walk through this building terrified about the future of the country. And also know if Donald Trump wasn't president, it would already be over. He's like a guy standing with the dam and like water's shooting out of all these holes and he's trying to stick his fingers in them. That's how bad it is. And Americans need to wake up and demand that Republicans govern like Republicans. If we don't, we're not just going to, losing the election will be the least of our problems. We're going to lose the country.
Hey, when did you realize, because it happened to me a couple of months ago, that when the left says separation of church and state, they only meant everything other than Islam?
Well, I knew that when I was in the legislature. The Democrats just hate Western values. They hate anything that is Western and that is good. There's this obsession with the minority, and it's crazy. Separation of church and state apparently doesn't exist for Muslims. You know, we must create prayer rooms, we must respect Ramadan.
That's the crazy thing is a prayer room in a new school in Minnesota.
They have fetishized Islam, which is crazy. because most of these leftists, they would kill immediately. And I see these stories. There's a really funny story about one of these cities in Michigan that the LGBT community worked with the Muslims to help them take power, and the minute they took power, they banned all the pride stuff and everything else. And there's these funny things saying like, I can't believe they did that. I'm like, when people tell you what they believe them. It's like what we're dealing with Iran. Iran's like, we want to kill you, we want to kill you. No, they don't mean that, they don't mean that. It gets back to this view. I think back to 1932 Germany. I think of all the Jews who didn't leave, who didn't even try to leave. Some tried to leave and failed. I think of all the ones who didn't even try. You know why they didn't try? They said, they don't really mean that. It's not going to be that bad. It's people want to live in the world the way they wish it was because it's more comfortable than to accept the way it actually is. Things are bad. People need to be scared. Democrats want open borders, welfare for everyone. They hate Americans. Their goal is to destroy the country. And if our side doesn't wake up and get fired up about the election, they're going to succeed in doing it.
I'm going to ask you a real question here. Not that the other ones weren't real. But do you think our side will wake up? That scares me. Because I think people like you understand it. You can only make so much noise on your own.
When people on my side vote for infinity, Haitian, illegal immigration with welfare, I wonder. Look, the side that's going to win the election in November is the side that is more motivated. Democrats are going to crawl on broken glass with acid raining down in order to vote against Donald Trump. If we try to govern like Democrats, I have news for you. We won't attract a single Democrat, but Republicans will stay home. And that's why the Save America Act, to get back to that, is so frustrating to people. They're like, if you guys can't pass this, why should I vote? It reminds me of a time long before I was in politics, when the Republicans ran on repealing and replacing Obamacare. And then they failed. For whatever reason, they failed. And then voters said, well, what's the point of having you? I even sometimes think about it. My gosh, if we're going to vote for democratic things, why not have them be in charge? So I oppose it all. I'm angry about it. I know that some of my other conservative colleagues are as well. We're trying to beat the drum, and we need you guys to do it too, because we have to govern conservatively.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you're from Florida, obviously, and Governor DeSantis has done a hell of a job making the state grow in its Republican base, but also just passing every piece of legislation that needs to be passed. I mean, there's no hesitation. He's governing, I think, the way that Republicans should be governing. Is anybody paying attention to this? Obviously, you see it, I see it. I see him and I'm like, man, why can't we do this nationally? Why can't we do this in other states?
Well, the Florida miracle, I would not give credit to one person. He's the fourth Republican governor in a row, and we've had 35 years of consistent conservative governance in the House and the Senate. We have supermajorities in both. I served in it for 8.5 years. And so when you have 100 conservative people rowing in the same direction for 30 years, this is where you get. I often felt like people like me or DeSantis, we got to stand on the shoulders of giants. It's a lot harder here. But what we've proven is when you govern conservatively in a swing state, which we used to be, people will respond. And I represented, by the way, a swing district in the legislature. I never won by less than 10 points because I was comfortable with who I am. This running to the middle, running to the left, it doesn't work. And I think we need to be unafraid, and we can't be afraid to be called names. Oh, you're mean. Oh, you hate this. Oh, you hate that. No, I'm fighting for America. I'm fighting to save our country from a debt that's going to crush us, from a foreign invasion that doesn't share our values. And people need to grow a set and be willing to fight.
Well, I think you're a really great example back to the story of the Dogs Over Muslims that you put out. You just were like, no, I'm not gonna take this as Islamophobic. I'm not taking any of these labels. I'm just gonna keep going. And the story went away.
Yeah, well, it was out there for a while. I got 50 million views, and I sort of made my name.
Did you monetize that?
We've tried, but the issue is they use this sword to shut us up.
Yeah.
You're a racist, you're an Islamophobe, you're this. It is, you cannot say anything. The fact of the matter is, an advisor from Mamdani did say,
yes,
Islam's coming to New York, finally. We failed on 9/11, but 25 years later, we're there.
Yeah.
Dogs should not be indoor pets. Let's get rid of them. No. And they don't want us to tell the truth about what is coming. That's why they try to pass these blasphemy laws. I'm not afraid, because if we don't fight back, look at the UK. It is an unrecognizable place. Look at Europe.
Yeah.
The rate of raping is up by 20-fold over the last 20 years. That will happen here. That's what they want to happen here. And I care about America, and I'm not convinced we're going to win, but I'm not going down without a fight. That much I can tell you. And these people don't scare me because I know they are evil, I know they are wrong, and we need more people to be willing to fight. So no, you want to say, again, I don't think any person is lower than an animal, but if you're make me choose between a religion that says I can't have a dog and my dog, they can leave. They can go to 57 countries, and I'm not going to apologize for saying that.
Yeah. And the UK. By the way, have you traveled to the UK since you've become a congressman?
I have not traveled many places since I became a congressman.
Thanks for saving us money.
I have not. I've been on one Codell for like 36 hours.
I wonder if they would label you a terroristic threat.
You know, it is funny. I have wondered about what it would be like if I went to certain places.
You and I should take a trip to the UK and see which one of us gets hauled into the room at the airport. I might need you to get out of the room.
I get a special passport because I'm a member of Congress.
See, I would get hauled in.
So they may not be able to do that, but you know, the funny thing is that do I really want to go to these places anymore? I mean, that's the question, and I'm disturbed. I think Western civilization is a risk, and we're doing it to ourselves. Kick these people out.
There was a restaurant, the last time I went to the UK, it was like 4.5 years ago, and there was a restaurant there called Iran. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, where in the West would you ever want to go to a restaurant called Iran? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That alone, and it's a very small piece of the larger issue. But like the fact that can just flies, and people are like, oh, let's go to Iran for dinner.
The fact that you can walk through the streets, the fact that when they put up the flag of England, it's called discriminatory.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's their country.
Yeah.
The fact there are people in the United States who believe singing our national anthem or putting up our flag is signaling. It bothers them and things like that. We have to kick a lot of these people out. We have to do mass deportations, mass denaturalizations as well. I mean, we have allowed too many people, too many paperwork Americans, and it's got to stop.
Okay, before you go, talking about name calling. You have a nickname, and that's why you got a little hammer.
Yeah, I'll give you one.
Oh, you have. Oh, you got stupid. Let's go.
You get your own.
Anybody who brings me merch is I'm a fan of. I love this.
You get your own Hebrew hammer.
I'm going to be a fan of the Hebrew hammer here, and get this on me once I get it out of the bag. But I love this, by the way.
You know how the pins started? Somebody gave me 100 of them.
Oh, really?
As a gift. I took them to a conference I was at. They were gone in 10 minutes. So we ordered thousands of them.
Well, if everybody,
your very own Hebrew hammer.
That's awesome. I love it. The Hebrew hammer.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, man. And please sign our
absolutely.
Our
and thank you for supporting the RSC today.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Yeah, look at that, man. I think Congressman Fine is an example of how most of our congressmen should behave. Because when there's so many people who get called names and cave immediately or apologize immediately, he doesn't apologize. He forces through, and he just stands up for what he believes in. And I think that is where a lot of our members should be. Coming up next, we have Congressman Addison McDowell, I believe, is going to be floating around here pretty soon. How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good day here so far? We're doing all right? I'm intimidated by Curtis Hawk. He's a real journalist. I just yap for a living. But I'm very excited to have. I think members should always have merch around. I know a lot of them have challenge coins now. I'm going to collect all the things as they come through, and I'll have I'll look like I work at TGI Fridays back in the day. What?
Pelosi merch.
Yeah, but I need some Pelosi merch. You know, they don't. When you come into Congress, there's a sign. We had a lot of time getting through security today. It was about 35 minutes to get through security. I haven't let that go yet. And there's a sign that says the things that you can't bring into Congress. And I should have taken a picture of this. But one of the things is they don't allow you to bring Molotov cocktails in. And when you think about it, it's exactly what Nancy Pelosi has on her all the time: rags and a bottle of vodka. That's apparently illegal if you put it together, but Nancy Pelosi regularly brings it into her office and into Congress, so that makes perfect sense. Also, you're not allowed to bring mace into, like a mace, an actual mace, not just the spray, but also the chain and with the spiky ball. Not allowed to bring those in. Who knew? Ever since the medieval time, they probably had a medieval times excursion, and somebody brought something back that they weren't allowed to bring back. So. But yeah, we're going to be hanging out here all day long. If you have any questions for us, go ahead and throw them into the chat. Have we gotten any questions? It doesn't matter.
I don't have any questions in the chat.
That's fine.
We're looking at
They can go to the ForAmerica Facebook page and message as well.
Yeah. Oh, you can go. Oh, there we go. I should pull this up on the screen. Let me do this. I can go.
Yeah, you can go to the ForAmerica page.
The ForAmerica page you guys can go to ask questions on Facebook. Also, follow ForAmerica on X, and of course me on X as well. Let's see here. So let's read some comments from Brian Ordway. Democrats are happy because they know, although DC Republicans are really good at talking about a good fight, that most of you are afraid to actually mix it up. That's why your supporters can stand you at not only, and that is why your supporters can stand you at not only your cowardliness, but your stupidity. Thanks for pulling that up. A lot of people are very frustrated. A lot of people are very, very frustrated with that stuff. Let me share this over to my personal page. Make sure you guys are sharing this. If you guys get a chance, make sure you share it over to your pages if you like it. Make sure that you're following. Again, lots of places where you can see all the updates from ForAmerica and, of course, me, TimRunsHisMouth. I'm on socials. Let me see what I've got over on my X. As I'm chewing gum professionally here. I'm going to hit the retweet button. Make sure you guys are reposting this. I'm going to have it pinned there, and I'm going to go post it into my private group as well. Democrat fails. If you guys are following in my private group, Democrat fails. We post a lot of memes in there as well. So I'm going to post that. Come hang out. Awesome. All right. So we are waiting now for Congressman McDowell, who will be joining us momentarily, and also Representative Bob Andre. There are snacks out there?
You have to bring your own snack.
Oh, okay. People have brought their own snacks with them.
EOS.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of time here. Yeah. Here we are.
There you go. A little bit of time.
Yeah. Well, why don't we put up the? You want to put up just the buffer screen for a second, and or the little placeholder, and we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back with Congressman McDowell or Congressman Andre.
who I am, but they do.
So here's my big thing with the taking away the likes. You used to be able to tell how liberal people were.
What they liked and like what they were going after. And that was a big exposure for I think a lot of
It's
people.
just
That's
like
the one thing
images.
that I actually miss about
How much they hated your politics.
Yeah, it is a good time. I mean, it's not as fun as the KJP days where, you know, the briefings would be like an hour and a half because KJP took 5 minutes to finish a sentence. She would just kind of stammer. You know, she should be shown in media training as how not to conduct yourself in public.
Well, and she also had that the eye flutter, right? Now, when she lied, now you can confirm this, I'd imagine, because you've seen enough of it. But she was a really bad liar in that she would have this eye flutter when she would.
Yeah, she kind of
into a
would
story.
tweak, and she would kill time by flipping her binder. She would kind of be like, "Oh, I'm like just on a minute," you know, too. So all kinds of different tactics that she. I don't know. She probably didn't even realize that that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
That she was doing too. So, yeah, the liberal media are, and they're very excited this week because this week is the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's Nerd Prom. They're very excited.
Who's the
because Trump's gonna be
comedian or
there.
entertainer or whatever?
Well, here's the thing. The left is mad at the Correspondents Association because they have Oz Perlman, the mentalist. So if he's not going to do comedy, he's going to do the, like, magic trick thing with guessing people's numbers and, like, second cousins, you know.
And opening up their cell phones, I think, is another thing.
Correct,
that mentalists
exactly.
do.
So they're not, you know, it's going to be actual comedy, actual fun. And we can't have that. We got to have Colin Jost or Michael Che
To come up and just-
Michelle Wolf just talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders' weight. You know, we got to do stuff like that.
Remember Michelle Wolf when they were trying to push her for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the end of her the show that she did where she had like a marching band that was pro-abortion?
Yes, exactly. That's kind of what ended up happening. It was very silly. It was like it was during that time Samantha Bee was also obsessed with
What
me
happened
too.
to her?
TBS decided, oh my gosh, why are we spending all this money on these people? You know, I wish our federal government was like that. They realized, wait, why are we spending money on these things?
So they canceled the shows.
So they canceled the show. It's amazing.
But I thought that they had put over Samantha Bee as like the alternative to the Daily Show because doesn't CNN now also have some sort of comedy show that they?
Yeah, we've got
arrange?
news for you, which actually, you know, I mean, it does okay. It does well by CNN standards, which means it furnishes well below all Fox News and multiple Sclerosis Now shows.
Does somebody in your office have to watch that show?
Yeah, we try to. Yeah, Brent Baker usually makes sure it's captured because of all the breaking news on the weekends, it doesn't end up airing. It sometimes doesn't end up airing because, you know, Trump bombs Iran or captures Maduro on weekends now. So, you know, sometimes it just
There's
doesn't
other things.
happen.
There's real news that
It never,
happens. and they get-
yeah, it just goes away.
I don't understand.
Poor souls.
I kind of like. I hadn't heard Samantha Bee's name in a while,
Yeah,
and they really made her disappear. I mean, she really fell off the face of the planet.
she did. Yeah, and you recall that when she was on the Daily Show, that was when the Daily Show was actually occasionally funny.
Yes.
Too.
She was under the Jon Stewart kind of
Yeah.
run, right? And
Yeah,
then
when it was Steve Carell in Colbert, when he was the character, was actually funny. Like if you pull up 2004 footage from like their convention coverage, oh my gosh,
it was incredible.
it was
Yeah.
incredible,
Yeah.
legitimate comedy. So, yeah, our Alex Christie monitors that. He somehow is able to measure every joke on these shows. And he's able to figure out that just like 90% of our coverage on the networks is negative towards Trump, we were able to find 90% of political jokes are about Donald Trump and the Republicans.
Yeah, of course.
You know, people like Swalwell, you know, that never happened.
So what's the coverage been of the Swalwell situation? I'd imagine they kind of blew it off, right? Because I saw
Yeah.
The View blow it off. They didn't care about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, of course, was where he announced his campaign. He announced his campaign on Jimmy Kimmel's show. And when they have brought it up, it was either Kimmel or Colbert used it as a jumping off point to then somehow talk about ICE protests and a certain thing that you should fling at
Serious.
at ICE agents. Yes, instead. So that's kind of what counts as comedy these days.
That is wild. That's absolutely wild. But no, I was. I just, again, like a lot of these people just fell off the face of the planet. They don't cover anything that's negative against Democrats. But again, the big high five that I give in your office every time I go through is Nick Fondacaro when Whoopi Goldberg had to admit that she was in the Epstein files and had to respond to being in them, offering, trying to get a plane from Jeffrey Epstein, and offering him a trip to go to Monaco with,
for a charity thing. And
after
of course,
he had been convicted, right?
After he had been convicted, and he said no. So there you go. Jeffrey Epstein is like, no, I did not want to hang out with Whoopi Goldberg, and he wrote all in Barry Boomer, all lowercase, misspelled things.
Well, that was very clearly that he quickly wrote into his phone, no thanks, and threw it, and did the old throw. Yep,
yeah,
that's exactly what that is.
But Whoopi Goldberg is apparently that important, supposedly.
Chris, who is the dumbest member of the White House press?
Well, I'm going to say probably the people from ABC News, because they're just NPCs. They're just so partisan. I mean, they're so reflexively annoying and playing for the cameras, and just so that their sound bites can be warped into whatever they need it to be. And it's a speech before they even get to ask the question.
Yeah.
So therefore, Caroline or whomever over the years could just simply be like, yeah, no, okay, bye. You used your time. And they try to get another question. No, we're moving on now.
Yeah. They just drop their political talking point, and then that's kind of where that is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, there's nothing I need to add, because also you sound so stupid anyway.
Yep. Anything folks should know about you before we throw you out of here? And
no, I was gonna say we're working on positive negative of the Iran war. That's gonna be coming out next week. We're gonna hopefully over the next few weeks we're gonna be covering that. We're gonna be covering the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I have
I just can't.
I know, Oz Perlman, and also I counted how many times Olivia Troy, one of those Never Trumpers, went on TV before she started running for Congress. She quit the administration hundreds of times, almost 400 appearances.
Is this when they want to push somebody and put somebody over to run for Congress? Is that the plan? Is that what they do?
I mean, it just feels like it. They get the validation. It's a circle jerk where they just are able to say that, oh my gosh, everyone loves me. And that goes to the gerrymander vote today with Virginia. She's running in one of these races where she wants to be able to spend all of her time in Clarendon and Falls Church and not actually have to go to Augusta County, which is west of Interstate 81. If you ask these people, Tim, you probably find some of these counties on a map. They probably couldn't tell you.
We should. Excellent stuff. Excellent work over at Newsbusters MRC.
Yeah, man.
Curtis Howe, thanks for being here.
Happy to help.
Yeah. So we are now. Do we have someone else queued up? Oh.
You're trying to cue someone else.
I'm Congressman Press Secretary.
You gotta kick me.
Jillian, I think.
To get people in. Who do we have coming?
I'm Congressman Press Secretary. I know that Jillian, I think Secretary.
You might want to
Let me know.
Jillian, she's our president.
We can put it back on the.
Okay, sorry about that.
Rather than sit and stare off at the camera, we can put it back on the. See, the one thing when I have my computers, I can pull up little stories and things, but I don't have that ability right now. But let's put it on the wait and the hold, and then we'll come right back. Live at the Pelosi caucus.
We're testing a few things out. We're trying the microphone out. We're, at these lives, things can hit or miss. So we are currently testing the audio to make sure everything is up and running. Good, and delightful, and all those things.
Yeah, like I said, it was really behind.
What do we need to do? What do you need me to do?
I got No, I was.
I like that. I think it's.
No, I was honestly.
One, two. We're just going to do a little quick check here. We have coming up next Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne. Eventually, we're going to wrangle her to come over here. She's a good friend of mine. And Rep. Bob Anders. So as we are testing our audio, nothing is perfect, but we can get as close as possible. All you need is faces and delayed audio. I think that's how we work these things, right? Are we good, guys? Are we doing great? Perfect. Things are good. We've got it figured out.
Here we go. Here we go.
We are an hour in,
I can fix that.
and we have figured the.
Well, because you turned it up to 10, so let me put it back.
Scale it back. We only need a 7. We don't need it to 10. Good. So I'm sitting with the only congressman I've attempted to bribe, and I think I successfully have bribed him. When I was moving, you would have been very happy about this, Elizabeth. When I was moving, I wanted to give a few of my prop replicas away, and I gave you a Thor hammer that is stuck in Dallas right now.
I love it, and it really goes with my. I have a Captain America authentic shield. It's like metal. I thought that if anybody saw the last episode of the Avengers, for those geeks like us, to have Captain America be worthy of the hammer of Thor, I was pretty impressed.
And I made sure that you got it because I have 3 of those actually. So I made sure that you got one because I was finding them for cheap, and when I see them, I'm a hoarder, and that's really a problem. Forget it. Anyway. I want to talk to you about Congress actually getting things done. I know that you guys try to get things done. It seems like the guys on the other side of the building have a little trouble passing some things, like the SAVE Act and anything else really at this point.
They're rooting for failure, and they're going against any sort of populist movement. The Save America Act is literally over 70% popular amongst every demographic. Doesn't matter what race, religion, ethnic origin. It's over 70% popular in every state.
Yeah.
And yet we can't seem to get it passed because why? I think the Senate should put people on record for that, to explain why they believe what they believe. Make them explain. What's wrong with the SAVE Act? What's wrong with the Save America Act? Because it is good for everyone. Everybody believes in political accountability.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see their vote count as much as anybody else, but not have people's vote count that shouldn't be voting.
Also, I don't think it's too deep to say that no one should doubt the results of any election.
That's right.
and on both sides. And that kind of is the way that the media goes now. If somebody doesn't win, they go, "Oh, still it's cheated or something happened," and it's both sides of the aisle that do it. What better way to make sure that everyone is more confident with things than ID development? Very easy.
And realize that every state now has ways to get free ID easily. And it's not that hard. Anybody who's been, people are like, "Oh, you're disenfranchising women." No, you're not. You have, just like anything else you do in life. You can't tell me that anybody's not without the resources to get this done. This is not a hard thing. This is, if you do your taxes, if you write a check, if you travel on a plane, it's the same exact requirements. If you go to a PTA meeting, it's the same requirements. This is nothing outrageous. This is just basic stuff.
If you go to an Eric Swalwell rally, you have to have. They don't have this anymore, but they used to. They used to.
You want to pick up trash in New York?
Shovel snow. They had to show, what was it? 3 forms of ID to shovel snow in New York City.
There you go.
I mean, again, it's preposterous that Democrats are against this, and it's also preposterous that, again, your colleagues across the aisle, across the building, not across the aisle, on the same side of the aisle, we came back from their break, and the Save America Act kind of just went poof, kind of disappeared. We're not seeing it on any kind of agenda. Nobody's mentioning it anymore, other than Mike Lee, who's been carrying it, I feel like, by himself over there.
Yeah, well, we have people literally rooting against us in war, cheering when Iran is able to get some ships through some blockade. That's crazy. Saying that American troops are committing war atrocities. You're literally talking about prosecuting. If the president's guilty, that means the troops are guilty, because we're not allowed to obey unlawful orders. So you're literally saying these American soldiers, sailors, and Marines are committing war crimes that need to be prosecuted. Shame on you. You're literally rooting for the enemy and rooting against us.
Let's talk about good stuff real quick, because, again, you're a medical doctor. You understand this stuff. I want you to talk about what this administration has done and what you have done to help lower the cost of pharmaceuticals, because it is your specialty, and I've seen you get fired up about it. I've learned from you, actually, in our past interviews about this. You guys have done a lot of work to try to save people, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a month on prescription medicine.
Yeah, prescription medicine is just one part of this amazing revision of how we approach medicine in general. It's a $5 trillion industry. A lot of people don't realize about $1 trillion of that is wasteful spending. It's not just pharmaceuticals. It's the way we approach our insurance companies, competition, transparency, hospital systems. There are so many people that like to put their beak in the well. And it's worse every time. And every time we think we fixed it, it's putting your hand in the dike and another leak springs. When it comes to pharmaceuticals, the president's been very innovative, and we have to be careful about this and be very fair and apply. We just had several pharmaceutical companies talk to the Doctors Caucus last week on Thursday and explain exactly the pitfalls of generalized policy. We have to be very careful, because a lot of times we, with good intentions, make regulations that actually make it worse. So we have to make sure innovation's still there, but we have good pricing, that it makes sense for the American people, that we're not paying for everybody else's research or for, but that we don't put ourselves at a disadvantage when it comes to competing with China and Europe and other companies too. So it's a balancing act. Same thing goes with hospital systems. You don't want to put a hospital out of business, but I'm seeing a lot of hospitals that don't pay taxes. They're building new wings every year. They have administrators getting paid millions of dollars. Meanwhile, a doctor can't own a hospital, can't compete with a hospital, and it's really driving the costs up. If your hospital system buys my practice or signs an agreement, that B12 shot you got yesterday for $12, the next day is $150 legally. That's crazy, and that's just one medication.
That's unbelievable. I also know from just my own experience that if you mention when you go to a pharmacy and you mention you have insurance, they are required then to charge you a certain rate. If you go in and say you don't have insurance, it could be the same pill that's the difference is $10 in just the pill alone.
Dirty little secret. If I give you a prescription for an antibiotic, and what you would normally go, you can maybe even get it free, by the way, at certain establishments. It doesn't matter if it's Walmart, Costco. You can actually look on the app. It's free at those certain ones. Or you can go in there and get it for essentially the same price as your copay, but you're not trained that way. You use your insurance company because you think that's, because I pay for my insurance, I should be able to use my insurance to buy my medication. You do your copay or your deductible, whatever it is, and then they charge the insurance company for the full price of that drug. And then the insurance company gets to upregulate that by 10% to make their profit legally. So you pay $100 for what you could have paid $10 out of pocket. They've trained you for that. It's nefarious. We need to educate the public so that we quit doing that. Always pay for out of pocket unless it's something extreme, just like you do for your car insurance. Yeah. You wouldn't report a $50 fender bender because you know your insurance rates are going to go up. They're going to beat you. That's why you have a high deductible. You only use it for catastrophic. It's the same way you should use your insurance company, and that's what we're fighting for, is to get people to shift over to the bronze instead of the gold, because you're not going to want to use your insurance. I'm sorry, you're paying. The average family of 4 now is paying like $30,000 for their policy per year. That's a car per year on something they may or may not even use.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Before you go, because I know you're busy today, you're a very popular man around this building. As a doctor, have there been a lot of members that come up to you and go, hey, can you look at the spot on my arm?
All the time.
Really?
It's actually one of my favorite things to do because I actually miss med. I miss being a Marine pilot. I miss the camaraderie, the challenge of that. Every day when I went to the ER, though, I felt like I made a difference. I'm seeing somebody on their worst day, and I can actually do something I'm proud of. Here, not always the case. You don't always feel like you make progress every day, but when somebody comes up and says, hey, this is happening, it gives me an opportunity to be a friend, to interact with somebody, and do my best at helping them to have a better day.
I'm gonna give you a call. If I see a spot on me, I'm giving you a call, and I'm gonna get my prescriptions from you. Thank you so much for being here, Congressman McCormick. Man, thanks for all
Always
you do.
a pleasure.
Can you sign the little
Of course.
thing for us?
Honored.
This is actually going to go help the Fresno GOP when we're doing a big fundraiser for them coming up. I'm speaking at their Lincoln Day. Thank
Awesome.
you so much. Dude.
Thanks, brother.
And get that hammer to DC, man.
I need to do that.
If I give you a prop replica, I expect to see the prop replica when I'm at RSC Media Day.
You know, I'm going to Dallas, I think the first weekend of May. I'll try to bring it back directly here so I can put it in my office.
Just carry on. You know, TMZ's following people around now. Just, you know.
That's right. Put it in my backpack and bring it out.
Yeah.
On a fur. I don't know. They're coming through the metal detector stuff. They'll probably see that as a weapon.
Oh, so hold on. So, okay, this is where this goes. Before you go, I got a lightsaber because I'm a nerd from Star Wars land
I see where it's
in
going.
Disney.
Yep.
And I'm bringing it through DC. And they stopped me and pulled it out and turned it on. And they go, we don't think you can bring this on. And I'm like, are you kidding?
It's not plasma.
They had to bring a supervisor down. I go, what are we? I'm not going to use the words that I used immediately when the guy pulled it out and turned it on, because I go, yeah, it's an intergalactic weapon. And he's like, I'm going to need a supervisor for this. And literally, it took 5-6 minutes for them to assess the little light tube to see that I wouldn't be able to take over a plane.
I'm glad they didn't take it from me.
I would have.
Gosh.
It would have been on the news. I don't usually go from 0 to 60, but I went 0 to 60.
I hope they don't take my Thor hammer.
They might.
That's almost as powerful.
But you have a different passport or whatever, an ID.
It doesn't make. They won't break rules for me. I'm not a federal agent, so.
No. All right. Well, we'll have this conversation again. We'll see if it gets through. Get out of here. Go do your thing. Thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to throw to break really quickly, and then actually, we don't have to throw to break. Congressman Herodopoulos is coming in. I'm too loud.
Mets fan, all right.
You know,
you remember '86 Mets? I was in high school. Those are the days, brother.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was there. Game 6. Can't ever forget.
Holy moly! I didn't know that. Now,
Oh, yeah.
now we're friends.
Okay.
Not before. 2006, I was there when they lost in the NLCS. So that was.
It's been a while. Now, what happened when Mandami visits? They lose. What the hell's
11
going
in
on?
a row.
Oh my God.
11 in a row.
Yeah.
By the way, I illegally crossed the road. I jaywalked in front of a cop today.
Uh-oh.
And the cop winds down his window. I'm not kidding you. Up in Adams Morgan, he goes, "Hey," and I go, "What?" He goes, "Keep the faith, man. Keep doing that." And I'm like, "What?" I thought I was going to get a ticket.
I love it. I love it.
Listen, one of the things I've been talking about today, you guys in the House seem to be able to get everything done. You're on point with Speaker Johnson. You guys have been really working your butts off. And then things go over to the other side of the building. And it just kind of slows to a...
I can't even describe their frustration. And as you know, I used to be a U.S. history professor at the college level, and it's so important. There is a role for the filibuster, no doubt, but it's not to eliminate voting. It's to slow down the vote so people can have a voice. They've had the opportunity, and some of these issues are so important, not just on immigration, but the idea that only Americans vote in an American election. How is this even a debate, let alone the need for an ID?
And the fact that anybody who would actually argue that, you know, they want to cheat an election. I don't think that it can be, there's no other reason that you wouldn't want an illegal to vote in the election?
Well, first of all, it's so vital that persons like yourself are in the arena now. In the old days, the mainstream media dominated everything, and we have changed the dynamic thanks to you. And it's just so patently obvious where the other team is, and the only protection they have is the mainstream media. And so this voice is so important, and it just shows how disingenuous they are. I mean, and you and I both know if you want to grab a beer, let alone jump on an airplane, we need an ID.
Do you want to shovel snow in New York?
That's right. That's right. And so the disingenuous nature of it all, and it's why we have to survive this election cycle and get folks out there, because we know they're going to try to pack the court. We know they're going to try to add states, and especially District of Columbia, and that changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, they will do, and the example now is what Spamberger did as soon as she took office in Virginia.
Yeah.
Literally just trying to push through any ridiculous thing they can, and they didn't just try. They got everything pushed through.
She ran on affordability, right? I think they should change it from Election Day to Halloween, because she took off the mask right after Election Day and pushed for this whole lie about reapportionment, which is just simply massive gerrymandering.
Yeah.
And then they raised taxes, and then they're no longer going after the most offensive of the illegal aliens, the worst of the worst, as they call them, because they won't allow ICE to come in and do their job.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then tonight, of course, is the big vote to see if they're.
What do you think? I'm very nervous. The other team put so much money in, and did you see the language? Unbelievable! Oh my God, game over. Yeah.
They made it look pro-Trump in some areas. They tried to. It was insane what they were doing. I don't know.
In Florida, you can't get away with that junk. But that's what happens when you see a party get power. They will do anything to keep it. What's the old Communist Manifesto? Ends justify the means, and that's what Democrats, the game they're playing right now.
Well, listen, you're part of the legacy of the state of Florida. I talk about how great Ron DeSantis is all the time, but really it's been years, and Randy Fine set me straight earlier. You know, it's been 30 years of you guys down there. Really just setting the policy properly, really expanding the power of the Republican Party there, but through good work. Not any kind of scams or schemes like Abigail Spanberger and what they're doing in Virginia. But like you guys have just proven why Florida is a great state and why Republicans should be in leadership and be elected. Why can't we do that on a national level? It is
incredibly frustrating. It's one of the reasons I got back into politics. I was like you, I was yelling at the TV every single day. I'm like, my wife said, "You got to go run for Congress," and here we are. But I think we should move away from the politics of it all. Great policy makes great politics, not the other way around. They play politics and have horrible policy. And so what we think the more information we out there, the better. And to use the boring term from my old political science classes I used to teach, people are voting with their feet. There's a reason why 2.5 million people left California since Gavin Newsom's been governor, and they're coming to states like Florida, Texas, the smart states that are saying, we respect your rights and also respect the money you earned, and you get to keep more of it.
If you guys eliminate state property tax, which might happen,
we might have everybody in Florida.
You're going to have everybody. I'm going to be upset about still living in town. I'm going to go yell in Austin for a little bit, but it's going to be hard for me to stay out of the state of Florida.
Well, it is the place to be, and not just because we're, of course, a right-to-work state, not just because, of course, we have no state income tax, but the other one is we have the best beaches, and you can where I serve, and of course, the Kennedy Space Center, you can see rocket launches like every day, man. It's the best.
And it's called balancing a budget. How is it that other states, that other voters, and again, maybe because it's math, it's hard for people to understand. But you take a look at your budget, how low it is there, how you spend the least amount of taxpayer money to run an efficient government.
I know.
That when hurricanes hit, things get repaired immediately.
Yeah.
You've got a bridge in Baltimore that got knocked down 3 years ago now. It hasn't been repaired at all. They can't get it back up. And the project has now tripled or quadrupled in price.
It's again, this is the easiest world. I mean, if you talk about contrast, look at California versus Florida, and it just shows the clear comparison. And that's why I'm proud to be a Floridian. Our slogan since I got elected is "Make America More Like Florida."
Yeah.
And look, we can still watch Mets games on cable, and that's fine. Eventually, they'll have to move down to Florida because no one's going to be left in New York.
Look, at this rate, when you see the Chicago Bears leaving Chicago,
right?
Odds are those New York teams are going to end up leaving. I mean, I think the Yankees will probably leave first before.
Well, it just sometimes you need to experience the worst. Remember David Dinkins, how bad he was? That's what brought on Giuliani to clean up New York.
Oh yeah.
I think Mondami is going to be part 2 of that equation.
I think he's already there. I mean, it's pretty rotten out there.
I just hope he doesn't visit some more teams that I like, because they'll start losing as well.
If they could visit the Phillies, that would be nice.
That's a great idea.
It's not a terrible
idea. I remember the Seinfeld episode when they had the mysterious spitter at the Phillies game.
Oh yeah.
And so, but all good. Anything else I can answer for you?
Now you can't ask me a question. That's what throws people off. What are you guys working on that we should be paying attention to? Because I know you guys are doing absolutely everything here.
Well,
man.
we
Like,
need to
what-
do reconciliation 2 and 3.0 because
Yeah.
we have to go after fraud. We have to do it. It is essential because people are saying, why am I paying taxes if they get away with this nonsense in Minnesota and California?
Yeah.
And we have to move forward in that process. And I think if we do that, it'll make a difference. The other one we need to do is we need to aggressively show off that this Act Blue thing, it was the biggest scam.
Oh, yeah.
Foreign money came into elections, and that's the real Russian collusion.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I'm excited to see you guys finally expel a few members of Congress who need to get out of here.
I think there's a couple on the way.
I got to get Congressman Onder in behind you, but thank you so
Good
much.
to see you,
I've
my
never
friend.
had somebody say, can you sign this
Oh,
for
I'd
us?"
be honored. Thank you.
You got anything else to ask me? Throws me out. You're not supposed to ask the interviewer questions. I learned that a
Well,
long
I'm
time
a teacher.
ago.
This is what I do.
You threw me off. Thank you so much. Great.
Oh, thank you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Congressman Onder,
Hey, how we
come
doing?
hang out, man.
Tim,
How you doing?
good
Yeah.
to see you. Yeah. Great to be with you.
So I want to talk to you about something very, very important that I love. I love Chloe Cole.
Yes.
I think Chloe Cole's a huge a hero.
Yes, she is.
And really, for her being so young, realizing what her importance is in society now. I've done long interviews with her, and it's remarkable the threats that she gets and everything she does for standing up for just children not being abused.
That's right.
Now you're working on the Chloe Cole Act.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody about that and
Yeah.
what that does?
Yeah, Tim, what we've seen in the last 15 years is that the far left, what I call the transgender industrial complex, have preyed on our children, especially our daughters, and they've convinced them that they're born in the wrong body. They've convinced them that their mental health struggles, anxiety, depression, sometimes just discomfort with their own body during puberty, during adolescence, that all those problems will be cured and they'll be wealthy and happy and successful just like all the social media influencers if only they'd go down this very harmful road to gender transition. So Chloe Cole herself was given puberty blockers when she was 11 or 12. By the time she was 13, she was on testosterone. And at age 16, they cut off both of her breasts. Well, a couple of years later, she realized this was a horrible path to go down. She realized, yes, she was a girl. She was a young woman. And she decided to dedicate her life to protecting kids from the same kind of abuse, this medicalized child abuse that she went through. So what the Chloe Cole Act does, and this is a bill we've worked with the Trump Justice Department on, is to create strict liability to those who would commit chemical and surgical mutilation on our kids and allow parents and the kids victimized to hold those abusers accountable. We know from experience in various states, including Missouri, that taking this approach will end these horrific practices and allow kids to as best they can, be made whole after such a bad experience at the hand of the healthcare industry.
There have been a couple of settlements already, right? With a
Yeah.
couple of families, a couple $1 million here and there.
Yeah.
And some states are finally kind of pulling back on this and not allowing kids
Yeah.
to get transitioned.
Yeah,
But-
26 states have banned medical and surgical mutilation of kids.
But this is the only way to win this issue, and the only way to be successful here is passing that act. Because the only way that people will learn to not abuse kids is if you hit their wallet. These big corporations. It's a lot of the pharmaceutical
100%.
industry, right?
Yes. The pharmaceutical industry is making a lot of money on this. And although 26, 27 states have protected kids, our biggest states like New York, California, New Jersey, they are all in on the transgender industry. It has become a premise of the woke left that there are these vast numbers of kids who you really need to mutilate them, chemically castrate them in order for them to be happy. And that's not true at all, of course. We know just released last month, the Finland study showed that of girls who transition, who take male hormones, their mental health problems double. And of boys who transition, their mental health problems go up sixfold. So where do we think these transgender shooters come from? From these ranks of people given the wrong sex hormones and told that they are born in the wrong body.
I mean, you've dug into this issue a lot more than I have. I'm kind of a generalist, and you've clearly worked on this with Chloe. But how has this become so prominent in society? Why is it that it's snuck into children's programming and literally it's just such a manipulation of is this something that's coming from another country? Is it something that's coming from the woke left? Like, where is this all originating?
Well, to some extent, it came from another country. TikTok videos really drove this. I would say that these young girls, mostly, but also boys, are influenced probably first and foremost by social media, TikTok and Instagram. I would say secondly by peer groups and peer pressure. You'll have junior highs where 3, 4, 5 girls come out as transgender all at once. And then, unfortunately, from our educational system, where our schools and our libraries are putting these, putting on drag queen story hours and trying to influence, toddlers, kindergarten students, to think to question their gender, to question whether they were born in the wrong body. But then it's become just an orthodoxy of the woke left, who are cultural Marxists. They were looking for one more cultural identity group that will be permanently in their camp to give them political power. If you could convince someone to become a lifelong medical patient, a lifelong adherent to your far left crazy ideology, they're never going to vote any other way. They're going to vote for the party that wants to continue their poisoning and mutilation and not rein it back. So it's really sad. It is so sad. I am old enough to remember when there used to be common sense Democrats, when progressives cared about things like poverty. Now they care about transitioning our kids.
It's crazy. Do you think any Democrat will vote for the Chloe Cole Act?
Yes, I believe there was a bill on the same subject back in January. I believe we got 3 Democrat votes. I mean, that's about 200 too few.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable what they allow to get through. It's mind-blowing to me. It's hard to wrap my head around it because I just saw a compilation video the other day of like Disney cartoons.
Yes.
They, thems, and all these kind of things that I believe that part of it is from China. You're right about the TikTok thing, because when you see advertisements for children on there, you see a lot of this trans stuff that comes to our kids, not their kids.
Yeah. No, that's right. If TikTok pushed those sorts of videos, Chairman Xi would execute you and harvest your organs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, it's just remarkable to me how much they've really just kind of infested our country with this.
It's poisonous. It is medicalized child abuse.
Yes.
It began with John Money, who was a very sick human being. He was a professor at Johns Hopkins Medical School. But Johns Hopkins in 1982 shut down John Money's shop of horrors that was its transgender clinic back in the day. But it resurfaced in the last 15 years. Referrals to Tavistock in England over a period of about 5 years went up tenfold. But the UK shut down the Tavistock gender clinic. Finland and Norway and Sweden have shut down their pediatric transgender industries. Of course, the HHS issued a report. RFK Jr. said that if you're going to be transitioning kids as a hospital, you're not going to get Medicare or Medicaid funds. So we've made a lot of progress in the United States, but it needs to survive the Trump administration. That's why we need to pass the Chloe Cole Act and in statute, in Missouri, in federal law, permanently protect kids.
Well, will this pass the Senate then? I know you guys will get it done. Speaker Johnson does a great job on this side of I was going to say this side of the House, but this side of the building.
Yes.
Capitol. Will it get through in the Senate?
Yeah, we have work to do on Senate Democrats if we're going to get 60 votes. That's why voters need to loud and clear send the message that we're not going to vote for people who support the medicalized child abuse of our children. If not, we've got to look at other pathways like reconciliation or even going ahead and passing it with a simple majority in the Senate.
Yeah. Listen, you're a medical doctor, right?
I am.
I asked the same question of Rich McCormick earlier. You have a lot of your colleagues come up to you and go, "Hey, can you look at the spot on me?" You got the...
Oh yeah. In the Missouri Senate, I was the House doctor for 8 years.
A lot of these are the 70, 80-year-old guys wandering around here. They've probably got a lot of things they come up to you and go,
Yeah.
It's catching up to me.
Actually, they tend to have their own doctors, so it tends to be the younger folks.
The ones that don't want to get the health insurance, they don't want to pay for the extra health insurance, so they come up to you.
Well, as members of Congress, we have Obamacare, which is something a lot of people don't know. They assume we have good insurance because we're members of Congress.
Jeez. Well, listen, the next time we do one of these interviews, I'll go through all of my medical history. I'll have questions for you. I'll come in and see if you can check out spots on me. I'm sure
There we
I've got
go.
some sort of sunspots that
There
need to
we
be looked at. But Congressman Onder, thank you for being here. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
fighting for children.
Thanks for
It's
having
so
me.
important. Yeah,
Thank you so much. God
and
bless.
Can you sign our little thing there?
I sure will.
Absolutely. We will take a quick break and be back in a second. We are live here at the Republican Study Committee New Media Day in Congress in the Pelosi caucus room. We won't call it that. But we will be back in a moment.
Thanks,
Thank
Tim.
you so much. Yeah. just let me know when he sits down. We'll do a countdown. All right. Good to see you, man.
How you doing? How are you? Mets, huh?
Oh yeah, today I'm the Mets. I just like being depressed as the.
Ryan got his first ring and only ring.
It's true. By the way, I just you ready to go?
Yep.
All right. Give me a countdown.
We're live.
Oh, we're live now. How about that? How about that? Congressman Craig Goldman, how you doing, man?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm commenting you in the Mets cap.
I know. So I just found out I live in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
My mail lady apparently has an entire collection of Nolan Ryan rookie cards.
Oh, an entire collection.
So one of her friends went through a divorce, and she took her husband's baseball card collection and gave it to my mail lady.
Wow.
And she told me she has at least 20 of the Ryan Kuzma. Yeah, you know how much those are worth.
Yeah. Wow. That's
in bad condition, they're $600.
Yeah. All right, well, if she's selling, we're buying.
That's what I said. I was like, hey, you're getting rid of them? She goes, I need to get these graded. I'm like, oh, you know about grading?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm in trouble, yeah.
That's very
yeah,
cool.
She's really going for the whole... He actually signs pretty great. That's wrong. He donates to his charity, and he, the fantastic guy. Done a lot for Texas, actually. A lot for Texas. Are we good on microphones? Oh, great. We only have 6 people working. It's fun. What's happening?
Well, I don't get live audio, so I have to wait for it to load up on here before I can actually hear what we're supposed to be hearing.
You want to put it? We can put on the. Are we good? I have to keep talking.
Yeah, just keep talking. I'm so sorry. I don't know what.
Well, yeah. Let's talk minutes. Yeah, no, I was talking about it with you the other day, and I'm like, I would buy them off.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was like, I'll give you 600 for one. She goes, no. She goes, they're above whatever grade 4. I'm like, are you kidding me? So. You have 2? So it's the one card in the case that I never got from when I was a kid. I bought the, so I have the, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Okay, so I'm 45. I have the Topps Gold 92 set that back in the day was worth like thousands of dollars, and now it's worth like 40. So I have that behind me. I got my Cal Ripken signature series, the first signature card ever from 1992. All right, great. There we go.
Change or touch anything, but it's working.
Fantastic. All right. Just lie to us if it doesn't work from this point forward. Let's ask policy questions quickly.
We can stay talking about baseball cards.
I know, seriously, I could do it all day long. I have a collection problem. So do you collect baseball cards?
I have every top set since '76.
What?
Yeah. And still buy every single year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do you buy packs or do you do?
The sets, not packs, sets.
Oh, but do you ever like sit and rip packs?
When I was a kid, I did. Yeah.
You know what? Can we do a live later on?
Love to.
And we'll just get a couple of boxes and just rip them.
Oh yeah.
They're like 300 a pop now, so I can't. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. They got them at Costco.
My old cards.
Let's do it. This is exactly what I'd rather do. But all right, we gotta fix them. Okay. What is happening?
Is this one working?
Oh my God!
Are we sharing this one?
Your Comstar is that your
Comstar?
Comstar?
Yeah.
He looks as thrilled as I feel.
What's up, buddy? Oh!
Are you seriously going
here? Buddy!
We're getting picking fights.
Are you interviewing him later?
I think so.
Okay.
It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. You can come. It's gonna get ugly over here. I thought I was a Republican. I don't know anymore. Are we good on audio?
I don't know. I am so sorry. I legitimately don't even know what's.
We're gonna make this up.
That's all good.
At one point, we're gonna sit
That's all
down.
good.
I want to. Yeah, just see if you can figure it out. Shiner leaves and the whole thing goes to shit. He went to get his badge. He heard that you guys had a decent thing in the
great deal on getting your hair cut. Yeah, the house barber shop.
Yeah. All right, let's just do this, and if it works, do you want to just put it on the audio on that little camera? I don't care how it works. Let's just get it going.
Yeah.
Just get something going. How did it work all day? No, listen. It's fine. It's on. You're freaking out. We're fine. All right, we're good. Just let it go.
Yep.
Good. I'm not going to swear. Yeah, I'm not going to. By the way, so I live Keller Northern. Yeah. You got to come over to the place. I got all my. I have an action figure room that I'm wrapping up, and I've got a whiskey room, and then I've got my cards. I'm looking for a card catalog to put cards in. So all of that is in there.
I'm good.
He looks like a school shooter. Can we put him on a list? All right. I just. What are we doing in Congress other than effing around with microphones? No, listen. You're doing a lot of great work.
Yeah.
Obviously, the House gets a lot of stuff done. The Senate, to use a run-of-the-mill comparison, would be like someone saying that the microphones are broken when they aren't. And it's like we got a lot of things done on this side, and then when it comes to the other side, it just comes to a screeching halt.
Well, for those people that don't know, it's in my opinion, they're archaic rules that many in the Senate refuse to change. We rule by a simple majority. If you get a majority of votes, the legislation passes. That's it. But they need 60 votes unless they do a reconciliation bill or others. They need 60 votes.
Yeah.
So when you don't, although they have the majority, when they can't go get a handful of Democrats to vote on a piece of legislation, then they can't move anything. Again, I think it's archaic. I was 12 years in our state house, and we had simple majority in the House, simple majority in the Senate to move legislation. Governor signed it, became law.
Yeah.
I'm all for them getting rid of the filibuster, going back to a strictly majority rule. And look, the old timers, if you will, in the Senate will say, well, one day we'll lose the majority, and we want that ability to stop their legislation. Well, that then is on the if you will, the onus on the American citizens that, if they don't like what the majority looks like in the Senate or the House, and they have every right to vote to change who their representatives are.
Well, that's what, I look at it and I don't think the other side's going to win an election if we pass the Save America Act, because they won't be able to, throw in a couple of extra ballots here and there from illegal aliens. We don't know how many people have licenses, and therefore all the numbers or whatever is required to vote in blue states.
Well, perfect example. What's going on in Virginia today? If we lose that, if you ask me, I'm no lawyer, but it seems like a completely unconstitutional referendum to vote to literally limit them to one Republican congressman.
Yeah.
On purpose. By design. They're not even trying to hide it.
There's one district that looks like it's like a lobster.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense.
No, and people say they hate gerrymandering. This is gerrymandering at its absolute either best or worst, however you want to look at it. And certainly I hope, the vote goes our way, but who knows?
It is very scary.
It is.
Because I think a lot of normal voters don't pay attention to stuff.
That's right.
And they don't go out for these kind of like middle elections. They think everything is done in November. That's one of the problems in Texas. We have those May elections.
We have May elections around the corner. Early voting started yesterday, and then we have the runoff elections the Tuesday after Memorial Day. I first ran. Our maps were challenged. The redistricting maps were challenged by Wendy Davis from Fort Worth. She didn't like the way her district was drawn, so she challenged the maps, delayed the primary. Our primary was a Tuesday after Memorial Day. I can tell you, people aren't used to voting then. It's a horrific time to get people out to vote, and that's what everybody involved in the Texas runoff elections have in front of them, is trying to get people out to vote for 1 week prior to Election Day, and then Election Day being the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Extremely difficult. It's going to be an extremely low turnout.
It's scary how few votes can determine an election. We're seeing it all over the place. I know that in Grapevine, the GCISD lost a very good conservative on their board because of.
We actually tried to change many years ago in the state legislature the May elections and move them to November. And actually, our opposition at the time were people like, no, we were able to control who wins in May because of the low turnout. We can get our people out, so we like the May elections being in May.
Well,
yeah.
When the left is paying attention, though, I don't know. It's a scary situation.
No, exactly.
Do you have faith that people are paying enough attention to be able to come out just in general, like that the Americans are actually paying enough attention to what's happening now? Are we communicating properly? There's people like me that are out there, obviously, but is our party, and I know the Republican Study Committee understands modern communications and getting people on podcasts and things like that, but are we as a party effectively communicating to people?
I think it's human nature, and it depends on. I think it depends on the race. I think it depends on the candidates. I think it depends on the issues at the time. I mean, look, we saw it in this last presidential election. The American people, citizens in swing states especially, had a choice between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and they overwhelmingly chose Donald Trump. And so, because what Kamala Harris, what was coming out of her mouth was so scary, if you will, of where she was going to take America. We lived it under the Biden administration, and we are busy just unwinding all the regulations, trying to get permitting done now. All the bad things done. I mean, I passed 2 pieces of legislation to change the Biden administration policies. And so we're busy doing that now. People forget we've only been here a year. We've been President Trump and his administration has only been in place for a year. We've only been in this Congress, for just over a year. All the focus last year was on the working family tax cut bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill. Those policies are just now being implemented now. People who had no tax on tips and no tax on overtime and were able to get the refunds from their taxes that they paid last week. So it takes time for us to pass legislation for administration's policies to be implemented to have an effect on the American people. So again, we first saw it with people paying taxes and getting great refunds. And now, again, passing the Trump budget, if you will. We were under Biden's budget all last year. We still have Homeland Security still to pass to fund them. But we're
9 days? Is that when?
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get it done next week when the Senate passes their reconciliation bill. But all those policies take time to implement. And so we're just now implementing all the Trump administration and the Republican Congress's policies that we passed last year.
I'm going to let you go, and only because I'm tired of getting all these messages on my phone with audio issues.
Got it. All right.
Here's what I want to do. We're going to set this up.
That'd be great.
I want to sit down and talk policy with you with good microphones. I promise. And we're going to open some baseball cards. So I think that'd be incredible. Congressman Craig Coleman, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Can you sign our?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
All right, and we're just going to check, we're going to run here and check the audio for a little bit. You guys are tuning in to For America and Tim Runs His Mouth's live with the Republican Study Committee today. I'm hanging out in the caucus room here in the Cannon office building, and we are just going to have a couple of words here while we're hanging out. And how are we doing, guys? Are we good?
Waiting to get it on my...
Liz says that it's okay.
It's perfect.
Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and cut it out, and we're not going to change anything other than taking my video out for the moment, and we will be good to go. Tim Young back live here at the Republican Study Committee with For America today. We are broadcasting live. One of the first lives we've done for a long time in For America, and I'm hanging out with Congressman Corey Mills. Dude, how you doing?
Good to see you, brother.
You've been having a fun time in Congress, huh?
I have.
Let's talk about good things.
Okay.
Iran.
Yes.
You understand this. You're one of the few people who understand this. You're one of the few people with a serious military record who has actually been in situations like this. You understand the enemy in this situation. Are we doing it right? Are we going to get out of there soon? Like, what's going on?
Well, I absolutely think the president's doing it right, but I think that we have to look at geopolitics not in just a singular fashion where we silo individual countries by how they operate or what's going on. We have to really look at the China, Russia, Iran, and North Korean geopolitical alignment and what that actually means. You know, you had China who was utilizing Russia to invade Ukraine to expand the Eurasian border. They then wanted to dominate Oceania and take over Africa, where they have 15 of 16 rare mineral mines, which would essentially give them, under this Belt and Road Initiative, a blockade of Western Hemisphere supply chain through the Red Sea, Persian Gulf, Mediterranean, Horn of Africa, etc. So how do we actually ensure that a population of 1.4 billion people, knowing the extreme deficit that China's in economically, even though they don't allow their currency to be audited, which is going to keep them where they're at, how do we put pressure? Well, let's take Venezuela for one. Maduro actually was providing about 70% of the oil out of Venezuela to China. Then let's talk about Iran. 20% of what Iran's oil was providing to China was actually helping them to be able to stay afloat. Those are now completely cut away. Does that now stop China from its ability to actually, over that 3-4 month time window from unifying Taiwan through a Taiwanese invasion or incursion? I actually think it does. You're seeing where Russia now, who is the largest arms trader to Iran, is now in an economic deficiency as they continue this war in Ukraine. Does that lead to a peace deal because of economics? I think that the president knows that it's putting pressure on Russia, potentially stopping another war. But we also have to look at this regime's malign activities. Since 1979, they have continued to be at war with the West, with the United States. They did have way over the requirements of uranium enrichment capabilities, and that was even covered by Ban Ki-moon and General Gutierrez of the United Nations. Not to mention that they were caught shipping mid-range ballistic missiles from Iran to the Houthis in Yemen. Look, Iran is the largest state sponsor of terror. Hamas, Houthis, Hashd al-Shaabi, Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq. Looking at what you have with Hamas, they have continued to go ahead and target the West directly or indirectly and continue to threaten Israel, one of our greatest allies in the entire region. So is the president doing the right thing by not only utilizing his capabilities under his executive authorities to try and prevent this type of thing from happening? Yes. But he's also responding to 40,000+ innocent Iranians who were slaughtered, who have been brutally raped, who have absolutely had the most horrendous things for doing what we call your First Amendment rights. So I think the president's done a great job. I think he's opened the Straits of Hormuz, which is going to help us with global trade and economics. This is going to drop our fuel price. I know it's hurting right now at the pump. I get it, but it's temporary. And I think that the long-term effect of this will be peace, better economics, and stability.
How is it that Democrats can cheer for Iran? How do we have members of Congress who are very openly cheering for people who cheer death to America?
You know what? I really don't know. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's like I watched where this individual who was chanting that he was a supporter of Iran, and he told me, he says, you know, I could go to Iran at any point in time. And I said, do you think so? He says, yes, they're accepting even as a homosexual man. And I said, do you realize then as a homosexual man, you chanting support for Iran is like a chicken chanting support for KFC.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really the irony here. And I think it's because what they are is they're playing this hypocritical game. Now, in 2011, whenever Obama made the decision of not declaring war but attacking Libya, which has now led to a failed state and multiple individual militias like Misrata, like Sirte, like Benghazi, like Tripoli, etc., and a huge weapons black market trade that has resulted in the French having to go into Mali, they were cheering this on, saying it was a great decision. They said, oh, you're saving the innocent people who are being murdered. And even the DOJ in 2011, by the way, remember this, they utilized a caveat under the United Nations that said, so long as you don't put boots on the ground, and you're responding only for the protection of innocent civilians in a humanitarian fashion, then it's okay to actually engage. So what's the difference between that, which lasted 7 months, and where we're at right now with President Trump, who's actually going to have this done in a far shorter period of time?
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I'm excited for my gas to be 49 cents a gallon. By the way, 'cause that's where this goes, right?
That's
because I mean, listen,
I'm pushing for like back whenever my grandmother let me use her car, and then all of a sudden I could put $2 in it and get like a quarter tank of gas.
Yeah.
And I'd bring it back because that was the rule. Hey, you have to bring it back with a quarter tank of gas. And I'm like, all right. So if I got 20, I need 2.
I got you for another minute here. Lots of stuff going on. Why do people not like you? Can I just? I think you're an okay guy.
I appreciate it.
What's going on? What's these people? What's
You know what? I can't say anyone's individual reasoning. Look, you got people like Mace who plays political theatrics, self-victimization as one of the people. I've been calling her out nonstop for the last 48 hours. If you say that you have overwhelming evidence to expel me and you put a resolution up there, why is she not calling it to the floor for a vote? Is it because she's only using it to fundraise as she always does and then try and self-victimize? You know, my whole thing is that this is a woman who, let's just go on her theory. Her theory is that if you're being investigated by ethics, oh wait, she's being investigated by ethics. That if you've ever had anyone who's actually tried to levy an injunction against you, well, wait, that's her again, because her ex-fiance actually put one for harassment against her, and she's currently under a gag order and multiple court cases in the state of South Carolina. So is that then by her own self-admission saying that the new precedent is what she's already in violation and she should be expelled as well? I think what she's doing is, and the American people need to wake up to this, she continues to pick fights when her numbers go down for the governor's race or otherwise, then self-victimizes as if she's somehow being the attacker, the aggrieved, but meanwhile sends out emails constantly to try and fundraise off of it, but never does anything about it. She claims that she was so upset about Ilhan Omar. Well, then why haven't you put an expulsion for Ilhan Omar on the basis of her marrying her brother for the whole idea of violations of Immigration Act?
Why haven't we expelled Ilhan Omar yet? Where is that? Like, what about Rashida Tlaib, who's cheering for her enemy? All these people, again, I don't envy your job.
I don't either.
But thank you for giving us some really good encouragement on the Iran war. I know we're going to go there, and thank you for your service.
Again, I just don't really get it, because at the end of the day, I'm the only member of Congress who's rescued almost 400 plus people in 3 countries, Americans that were left behind. 59 mentally disabled children, physically disabled children out of Haiti to Africa, working with Tim Tebow's foundation. Donate my salary back to women, children, veterans in my district. And, oh, that's right, don't buy and sell trade stocks while I'm in office.
That's what I would do.
You think that all 3 of those things would matter?
That's what I would be the best inside trader ever. We need your autograph on this before you get out of here.
Love to.
Congressman Corey Mills, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. I'll put it by the sea.
Yeah. Okay, we'll throw it a break for a second here, and we'll be back in a second. Congressman Tim Burchett, one of my favorite members of Congress. One of, I think, everybody's favorite members of Congress now.
You're nice.
You got some people around here that don't like you?
Oh yeah, remember Republicans don't, but that's all right.
Okay, well, I want to ask you about something because this became a topic on Will Kane's show the last time I was on. Your quote about alien stuff, that you've seen stuff that would keep you up at night.
Yeah, sure, it would.
What-
I guess I've kind of been tempered by it because I've been dealing with it for several years. You know, it's kind of a beg to get before the committee, and then Chairman Comer let us have a special hearing just on that, and we literally blew the roof off of it. But then, you know, I've been in the skiff multiple times. I've been briefed. I've talked to Admiral. I've talked to fighter pilots, the best in the world, and it's time. America needs to know what's going on. And I don't care if you believe in little green men or flying saucers or any of that. What you should be concerned is what are we spending tens of millions of dollars on a subject they say one person in a department will tell you they don't exist, and then somebody in that very department will tell you that they do exist. And then when some little punk in a man bun comes in there and tells you that the president's on a need-to-know basis, I think dadgum, you better find out what the hell's going on.
I agree with you 100%. But you're right, and you bring up a point that like a lot of people never talk about, which is we're spending tens of millions of dollars on this, and we're being told you can't know about it.
That's correct.
That's troubling.
And it's an arrogance that and that will lead to our downfall. But I think, as you as a member of the media, it's just about transparency, dude. It's why are they hiding it, and I think people can handle it.
All right, I'm not going to pick too much, but
All right.
I remember when they released, I believe the Air Force released some data a couple of years ago, and they showed that we had actually designed our own flying saucer.
Yeah.
Do we get that idea from somewhere else?
I don't know. Here's what I think. If they drop something down on us, it'd be like if we took a brand new Indian motorcycle and took it to the people that came over here on the Mayflower. It'd be a bright, shiny object. They might figure out how to start it. Probably not. They couldn't develop the fuel. They couldn't adjust the valves. It just wouldn't work. They wouldn't know how to charge the battery. Wouldn't have the capabilities of doing that. And that's what you're looking at, something like that. Because you figure light years, it's just crazy. But
yeah.
I go out every night, look at those stars, brother, and I mean, the light from those stars left there for the time of Christ. Planet Earth in our solar system is one grain in a billion beaches. And I just don't think we could, as the good old boys, I don't think we can fathom all that, or fathom, whichever case. And quantum physics, you want to talk about quantum physics, that would be the capability of travel. And but again, when I talk to a guy who is an admiral and tells me something large as a football field's moving at 200 miles an hour under the ocean that they've tracked on sonar, that to me is, I think we need to find out what that is.
We do, because it doesn't seem like something that China could be capable of
No,
either.
if China did it, they would dare say they'd control us, which they probably already do our greed and the lobbyists on K Street. And I think that, and if Russia had it, they wouldn't be bogged down in Ukraine. If it was ours, we would not risk our military personnel in a $500 million aircraft flying these things around them, which they have. We scrubbed missions because of it. We had a nuclear plant shut down one time with these things that were flying around at the same time. Dadgummit, just get the information out there.
Wow, I am intrigued, and I can't wait to see it.
You should be.
It's our. Okay, so and then I'm going to ask one more dumb-sounding question, but I'm really not being dumb about this.
No, you're right.
We
We got 11 high-ranking people that are in knowledge with knowledge of something have disappeared or died mysteriously. That should be a good question that the media needs to press. Imagine if we had 11 people like yourself in your industry disappear. What if we had 11 rabbis? What if we had 11 barbers disappear across the country? Everybody would be going, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
But, excuse me, I keep it.
That's all right.
For some reason, this is And now the president, who was asked, and now he's going to start getting to the bottom of it.
Will Kane actually just covered that on
Yeah.
the show. And that's why I like hanging out with him on his show in Dallas. And
He's a good dude.
I mean, the plot of the second Transformers movie, and I'm not saying this jokingly. Think sometimes Hollywood gets information and pushes it. Is that they reverse engineered one of the items that came down, and that's how we got a lot of our technology. Is that a possibility of being real?
Yeah, very much a possibility. But you figure something happened in, 47, like Roswell, for instance, which there's some other incidents. Just use that one, for example. The people that would have found it or discovered it or started working on it would all be dead now. So what they do is it's delivered out to 5 or 6 of these major corporations, and that way they're not FOIA-able. Freedom of information. I can FOIA. Just like if hey, Ford's got some secret stuff, I want to see it. Ford Motor Company. Well, I can't FOIA. I could FOIA them, but they're not going to answer. FBI technically would have to answer. So I think you gotta ask yourself. That's probably the way they've done it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Men in Black type stuff?
It's funny, I was in a meeting one time with somebody, and they'll go unmentioned, and they met in my office. It's kind of cagey. They brought in 2 people with them, and I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "Well, such and such. He's a big fan of yours, wants a picture." And I said, "Great." And I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "He's not here." And I was in a meeting one time at an Air Force base, and they denied us access to stuff. Myself, Luna, and Matt Gates ended up getting to talk and see what we wanted to mostly. It was pretty enlightening. These 2 cats sitting in the back of the room, and they were in suits, and they were very nervous the whole time.
Wow. All right. Well, let's move on to something a little lighter. That actually did kind of give me a little. The people, like when you can't know things, that really scares me. I love your jacket. I think last time we talked on the Will Kane show, I was asking if Carhartt's ever going to do a version of it for the Burchett jacket that we can all get. Is that going to happen?
Well, they're making them in Tennessee, allegedly. They found me at a UT football game. I told them I was going to quit wearing them because they weren't making them in America. And not Central America, but the 50 states, yeah. And he said, actually, we're making them in Tennessee. And so I haven't heard back from them. That was supposed to be this year. At some point, they're supposed to come out with that. So I'm anxious to start turning some labels and seeing where they're made, seeing if they're Tennessee made. Because they are. I'm back in.
Yeah.
These are old ones, as you can tell. But
yeah. Well, that's the way I have my hoodies that I stick with that are American made. Last one for you. Last time we checked, you were going through house ethics to figure out how you can manufacture those skateboards.
Yeah, we got a little setback. I cannot call them Burchett boards. There's people who have car dealerships that are named after their name, and for some reason, and they're like, I just don't. Ethics. It's congressional ethics is a lot like military intelligence. I really just don't think it exists. I'm trying to do the right thing, so we think we're going to have to put it in my wife's name, and she owns it and runs it, which if you're married, that's not a stretch at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
down with that, but I think we're going to call them dadgum boards.
That's awesome. So, I mean, look, some people's spouses do really well in investing, and you're just trying to start a legitimate business.
6,000%, and yet that's legal. And that's what I asked the lawyer. I said, so you're telling me as a member of Congress I can do insider trading, but I can't sell a skateboard? And he said, that's correct.
It's unbelievable. Congressman Burchett, thanks for hanging out with us today, man. That's awesome. And can you sign our...
oh, yeah. Quit calling me Congressman. It's Tim. Technically, Congressman's some 80-year-old guy that ain't heard the gun go off.
Tim, we're friends. We're going to hang out. I want to do this again sometime soon, and I really want to be there when everything gets released and watch you cheer along. It'll be awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. We'll be back in a second here at the Republican Study Committee. Congressman Tim Moore, should I start you with the same questions that I asked Burchett?
I don't know what they were, but
what do you know
ahead.
about aliens?
You know,
That guy.
I know some pretty odd people that it would actually make more sense if they were aliens instead of people. There's some out there.
There have been a couple of innovators in our world that I'm like, okay, all right, where'd you get that idea from? That just kind of, by the way, really cool glasses.
Oh well, thank you. They help me see better. I'm not as sharp as you are, Tim.
I'm not sharp.
I'm the shorter, chubbier Tim over here.
I don't know, man. The drinking's caught up to me, so I think it balances out.
Yeah, it's pretty healthy over there.
Look, I got to ask you, you guys in the House get things done. You vote for things, they pass. Then they go to the other side of this building. And, well, not this building, but the one in the middle here. And it seems to slow to a halt.
Well, I've compared, I think in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a graveyard over there in a lot of ways, because there's certainly some fossils around. And then the ideas, a lot of the ideas do go over there and die, unfortunately. And I think it's unfortunate. And I'm friends with a number of the senators, and I got to say, the frustration I think that at least the ones on my side of the aisle have is that they would hope that that enough of the Democrats, the more moderate Democrats, would work with them and would try to get something done. But they won't, because they're beholden to the far left and they're worried about their primaries.
Well, it's crazy because you have somebody like John Fetterman who says the right things like 30 or 40% of the time, which is more than most Democrats, and then just completely votes with Democrats like lockstep. There's never a break. So he plays the game, but like literally would never vote for anything that we'd be for. I mean, the Save America Act should be a no-brainer, right? This should be a very easy one to pass.
It is. I mean, the Save America Act, of course, would simply require one, proof of citizenship to vote, because you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote in federal elections, and two, photo ID for voting. In North Carolina, we adopted that years ago, finally, after challenges and everything else, court actions, you name it, and no one's being disenfranchised. You don't hear of any evidence of somebody going to vote, being denied to vote. There's reasonable accommodations that are made for somebody who somehow in this world manages to get by without a photo ID. I don't know who they are, but there are other accommodations that can be made. And the fact is, the far left has tried to twist this around and make up a lot of stuff that's not true. It's basic. What I've always said is we should make elections. We should make it easy to vote, but hard to cheat.
Yeah. Perfect. Also, I like the one-day paper ballot thing. I don't know about you, but I like the old school. So for some reason, we were able to do it for years.
Yep.
And then it just went off the rails that suddenly everybody needed to do mail-in. I understand having to do absentee if you're absolutely not there. But other than that, like, it's very easy to cheat nowadays.
It is. I don't have as big a problem for a reasonable period of like early voting, but in our state, it's nearly 3 weeks. We don't need 3 weeks of early voting. That middle week is dead as a doornail. You have a lot on the front, a lot at the end, and then it's dead. The other thing that's troubling is, in our state, like some others, is same-day voter registration, where you come in that day and there's no way really to vet it, other than they send a postcard to your address and it gets returned. Oh, well, maybe it's fraudulent, et cetera. I mean, the whole thing's a scam. But North Carolina, paper ballots are the law. It was actually a bill that I worked on back in the day. So we have traceable paper ballots for early voting, and then we have just paper ballots, anonymous, if you will, for election day voting.
But why can't everybody else do that?
Because not all the leaders in all the other 49 states have it quite together like North Carolina. But no offense to the other 49 states, but we do have a lot of good ideas in my home state.
Yeah, and they've sent a decent guy to Congress here too. I just, it's mind blowing to me with everything that's going through that, like, the filibuster still exists over in the House side. We're seeing what Democrats, right down the street, we see what Democrats do when they get put into office with Abigail Spanberger and the Democrats in Virginia. Immediately doing everything they can. They run roughshod. They just pass everything they could possibly do. What was it, 50 new taxes or fees on everybody, trying to redistrict in very illegal ways.
Oh, it's shameful. Absolutely shameful.
And we don't know if the voters are paying attention enough to vote appropriately to stop it today. That's happening today.
So if people are in Virginia, they need to go out today and vote before the polls close.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make sure that to vote no on this ridiculous gerrymandering scam.
I don't understand. And you're one of the good guys. You're one of the guys who works. Why aren't we as aggressive on our side of the aisle as the Democrats are? I feel like we're too nice.
I think we're pretty aggressive, but I think we're just not crazy. I mean, I think some of the more radical ones that you see all the time on MSNBC and some of just the hard left, I think some of them are just kind of nutty. I will say most of my Democratic colleagues I deal with don't engage in that kind of stuff. A lot of them have been voting the wrong way, but at least they're not engaging in all the vitriol and the calls for violence and just the ridiculous stuff. I mean, we had some Democratic members that were out there actually, if you recall, interfering with ICE, like actually getting in physical,
getting charges, catching charges.
Crazy world. Yeah. And so if you talk to a lot of Democrats who aren't the nuts, they'll if they're honest with you, they'll tell you they worry about some crazy person from the far left running against them in their primary. And so they've kind of got the tail wagging the dog over there. And look, we have challenges in our party. I'll be the first to admit that. We don't have near the challenges that Democrats do. I mean, they're getting hijacked by radical socialists.
Speaking of some of the challenges that they have over there, I always get this name wrong, but Sheila Sherphillis McCormick.
Yeah.
Are we getting rid of her, or what's happening here?
She's gone through a process through the ethics committee. It's amazing to me. And let's bear in mind, that is a fully bipartisan committee. Equal number of Republicans, equal number of Democrats, and it has to pass for them to take any action. And as I understand, I don't know for sure, but my understanding is that it was even unanimous.
Yes.
That this committee made findings that she committed all sorts of theft of taxpayer dollars, like relief money, COVID relief dollars. I mean, that's what in the world? I mean, if you're a thief and you've been found to have violated it, you need to get the hell out of Congress. You don't need to be here. Yeah. And you get folks like that give everybody else a bad name. It's like some of these other stupid scandals that have come up with folks doing ridiculous stuff. I mean, and then the fact that I or any other member have to go back to our district and we're tainted by folks who are engaging in terrible conduct. That's wrong.
Because they just assume everybody's bad, right? When you got a couple of bad actors, they just assume everybody is just and trust goes down, and it's not good.
It's not good. So I don't know what'll happen. From what I'm hearing, if they make a recommendation to expel her, I'm a yes vote to expel her. There's no sense in it. But she should do the honorable thing and just resign.
Yeah. Well, it's a Democrat, so you got to keep that paycheck coming in for as long as possible. I don't know how they operate.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I think if she is expelled, she loses her pension and stuff. But if she resigns, she may be able to keep it. I'm told, but I don't know that. That would be an interesting story in and of itself.
Yeah.
Which would be like if she's thinking, maybe the smart thing to leave. Hey, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not advising.
I don't know how the Democrats advise their people either. Congressman Tim Moore, thanks for hanging out, man.
Always a pleasure. We got the Tims. We got to keep this thing going.
Happy to. I need your autograph on that.
All right. You're making Tim great again, right?
I am. Look, I got a really cool seal behind me. I did my own version of the presidential
that.
seal.
I was thinking about stealing that early. Like,
I mean, look, I got booze and a cell phone and then a cigar. I got the whole thing in the
I
hoodie.
got to say, Tim runs his mouth. I don't know. We might have a contest for that one. I run a lot too. Just saying.
I've probably gotten more in trouble running my mouth than you have, but
I don't know. You've made better life decisions. You didn't decide to run for Congress, so you're doing much better.
I've been asked a few times, and I will never do it. I do not envy your job.
Smart guy.
Yep. We'll be back in 1 second here with Congressman Marlon Stutzman. Thanks,
Always
man.
a pleasure.
Thanks
good
for hanging out. Yeah.
Yep. Ask Marlon the tough questions.
I will. I'm so easy on this, man.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, what's the note?
That's my stuff. right now?
Well, ever since the mascot hugged Mom Donnie,
It's been a down.
That's what it is.
11 in a row, and then let's go. Man, I shouldn't have worn this Mets hat today. I got a target on my back, but on my head. I got a target on my head wearing this Mets hat today.
No, it's good. You're a real fan.
Listen, I'm going to start with, I don't know, serious stuff. I had Congressman Burchett on.
Yeah.
What do you know about aliens?
What do I know about aliens? I don't know. I mean, okay, UFOs, I can go with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about aliens yet. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Tim Burchett to uncover it.
He said he's seen stuff. I had a friend that was in the Top Gun program that said it can all be explained very simply with the term China.
China?
China, a lot of times is the.
That's very possible. I mean, they did try the big balloon thing, which was kind
They
of.
tried it. They
They
succeeded.
did it. I know, right? Biden let it float across our country. That's insane.
Casually went straight over everything.
Yeah.
What was it, like 2 weeks? It floated over our country, and then they didn't.
Yeah, we finally shoot it down in the Atlantic over just past South Carolina.
Yeah, after it went over, our farmland and military bases, they didn't care.
Yeah.
Why not? Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Since the last time we've talked, I feel like you guys have passed more things, or tried to pass more things, tried to move more things to the Senate side, and again, foot on the gas here.
Yeah.
Goes the other side of the building. Things kind of start to slow down a little bit.
They do. And I get that. The Senate is supposed to be a more deliberative body, 6-year terms. The House is moving faster, 2-year terms. But you know what? There's a couple of things that really need to pass, and one of those is the Save America Act. I mean, when it comes to our elections, we need to be sure that the American people trust that it's citizens only voting. And I'll tell you, there's a real problem going on right now where sanctuary states are giving illegals CDL driver's licenses, photo IDs. We're not going to know who's who out on the street until you do some sort of background check and then figure out they're an illegal.
If they're giving out licenses, those people are voting.
Yeah.
Or at least there's some sort of record that they have a chance to vote in
Yes,
those blue states.
absolutely. Yeah.
By the hundreds of thousands in some instances.
And
it
they
seems
will
like.
find some clerk's office in a Democrat state that'll go register them and take them, and they'll let them vote, and it'll be the whole thing is compromised at that point.
I mean, we're also seeing with like mail-in ballots, people going up to homeless encampments and giving them a couple of bucks to sign forms.
Yeah.
I mean, this is. What do you think the extent is of, I'd just say, cheating in elections and manipulating elections that way? Do you think it's a huge amount, or like what are we looking at?
Oh, I think it's more than what we really realize or want to even admit. I mean, I had a friend who went up to Detroit after the 2020 election, and he was a Republican chairman, and he was pushed out of the room. They pulled the curtains. They started counting ballots, and he's like, "Who knows where those ballots came from?" I mean, you think this stuff happens like in countries in Africa, and where it actually does, where they just basically eliminate the whole democratic process. But one thing I always realize with Democrats, whatever they accuse us of doing, they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's one of them that I think they will do whatever it takes to keep power and control this country.
I'm all for not just one day in-person paper ballots, but that blue thumb where they dip the thumbs in the Middle East, and you come out so you're stained for like 2 weeks so you can't vote again. Well, I think that's where we need to be.
And I remember that election, and ironically, it's like, we're saying the only way we're going to be sure that it's one person, one vote in Iraq is the ink in the thumb.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that here because we're bigger than that, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? People in this country are cheating in elections because they don't want conservatives to win.
So forgive me to being ignorant to your district, but is your district the one that's getting the Chicago Bears?
No, that is a Democrat seat right now on the northwest side of the state. I'm on the northeast side, but I'm a big Bears fan, grew up a Bears fan, and I think it's 50-50 chance that we get the Bears to move from Chicago to northwest Indiana. They'll still be the Chicago Bears, but you know what? If you're going to build a big stadium, do you want Illinois property taxes or do you want Indiana's property taxes? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to be within the city confines of Chicago as well, because that's got to be the higher property taxes than just Illinois. God knows what it is there. Who knows?
For sure, you're paying more in taxes than you're paying for your stadium.
And also, all of your parking is private owned, and everything went crazy there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it did.
Why would any business continue to be there when you have Indiana next door, that you have a much more favorable economy?
And we're not that far from downtown Chicago, and we have all the infrastructure, train. What they want to build is like a big gaming a complex, and then you have restaurants, retail. There's a casino right there in the corner already of the state in Indiana. So it makes a ton of sense for them to move there and still be called the Chicago Bears. But it's, again, Illinois taxes are ridiculous. Illinois politics are crazy. That's why the Chicago Bears are finally saying enough is enough and taking a serious look.
Yeah, and why wouldn't they, honestly? Again, if I'm a billionaire and I got a sports team, it doesn't matter where it is. It comes down to dollars and cents, not like loyalty to an area that's going to house them.
And when they build that stadium, wherever they build it, they're stuck there for 50 years. So they have to really think about, this is a generational decision, maybe longer. Of course, they've been in Soldier Field for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So this is a big decision for the Bears, and I wouldn't put it past the Illinois politicians to do something really irresponsible to keep them there, and then they'll turn around and tax them in the long run and change the rules because that's what they do.
That's how the game is played. But who knows where they end up? But the fact that they could even consider leaving the state and going to Indiana talks about how great your state is, right?
It is.
I mean, it's like really
Hey, we've got the Indianapolis 500. It's the biggest sporting event every year, which is coming up in May. Of course, we just hosted the Final Four. We love sports in Indiana. We don't have a Major League Baseball team, but we've got great baseball throughout the state, and we're surrounded by great baseball.
I mean, at this rate, too, you never know. Like maybe the Yankees or somebody will leave New York. The way Mom Donnie has treated my team could go downhill very, very quickly.
Absolutely. Again, policy does affect sports in this country.
Before you go, because I know you got to get your way around this room here. Everybody's pretty popular today at the RSC New Media Day. What are you looking forward to? Are we going to get things accomplished here with the Senate? Are you guys going to be able to work together? Are we going to be able to move things through?
We need the Senate, Republican senators, to really step up and say, we're going to get something big done. And I know the big, beautiful bill, that was a big lift, but we can do more than that. We should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, we've got big things. The Save America Act is important. Making sure that our military is taking care of this fraud that's going on in California, is found in Minnesota. It's going on in Illinois. It's going on in New York. But we need some policy in place that the American people want to stop this fraud, waste, and abuse that's going on inside these welfare programs. So that should be an easy lift for us as well. I really scratch my head in trying to figure out why the Senate is hiding behind this filibuster rule. The Republicans need to say, you know what, we were elected to govern, let's pass these bills because that's what the voters asked us to do that voted for us.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Good.
Congressman Stutzman, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
We'll see you soon. Make sure you sign this guy before you go. We're putting it together.
Sounds good.
And we will be back in 1 second because I'm going to itch my nose like a madman when this goes off camera.
Done.
Thank you so
Perfect.
much. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you.
I'm going to hit pressing topics like you guys getting the Chicago Bears.
Yes, we're going to do that. We've made space for it.
Are we
We've
good?
also-
We live? I just need to know that we're live. There we go.
Okay.
Congressman,
Yes.
are you guys getting the? Are you stealing the Chicago Bears from Chicago?
Yes. we made a place for it.
I mean, that has to speak to how great your state is, right?
That's right. And there's truth in that too. And besides just we're kidding a little here, but we've got a good business climate. We've kept our taxes reasonable, and we've had a surplus every year. We balance the budget. So Indiana's a good place to raise a family and work.
How does everybody from Chicago not just, and it's safer, how does everybody from Chicago not just cross that border into your state? What's keeping them there?
They know what we would do if they did. No, seriously. I think the fact that many of them they're loyal to where they live. They want to stay in Chicago, and so we welcome anyone that would want to come.
Yeah.
And try to create an environment. We try to create an environment that is healthy for raising families, for working, and also being innovative and being able to make progress, for personal progress for the families and and education is important to us. Purdue University is right in the middle of my district, and so that.
A couple of decent quarterbacks have come out. A couple of decent football players in general come out of that school. Not a terrible place. Let me ask you this, because I know you're short on time here. The House of Representatives, and you in particular, you guys are able to get things done. You're able to pass things. You're able to move pretty quick on stuff for America.
Yes.
Then it goes over to the other side of the building.
Yes.
And things seem to slow down a little bit.
And that's right.
How can we fix that?
Well, we got to make sure that they understand and try to demonstrate how important it is to get it. Just like the Farm Bill, that's important to my district, and it's important to the producers all around the country.
Yeah.
So we need to get that done because they're upside down. Most of the farming community is upside down on their prices. Input costs have been skyrocketing, so prices are down. So anyway, we need to make sure that they understand the impact that has on this country, on food prices and all of that. And not just agriculture. I'm talking about manufacturing. I'm talking about the innovation in people wanting to produce more.
Yeah, I just, I feel like Speaker Johnson's got it figured out over here, and he's got everybody working together as best as you can. Obviously, everybody's got a different opinion on things. Everybody's got a different ego on what they want to try to get passed. But things just seem very organized here. It goes over there, and I know they're supposed to be a lot more deliberative, and you guys are directly representing the people. I want them to work like you guys do.
Well, I hope that they communicate with their constituents, and that their constituents have an influence on what happens and an influence on them.
Yeah. Congressman Baird, I know they told me I had less than 5 minutes with you here, but I want to have a longer sit-down interview with you and talk a lot more at some point coming in the next couple of weeks.
I do too.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We will be back in a moment. We have a couple more congressmen coming up, including Greg Stubbe. So we will see you in a second. Oh my. We ready? Now we're live with not a congressman. Maybe you could be. Would you ever consider running for Congress, Sean Spicer?
Not anymore.
You had at one point?
Oh, sure. When I was young, I thought that would be pretty cool. And now, after seeing how this, where we are, no way. I used to say after a while, then I evolved to I would be appointed. Like, so if someone said, "Would you like to be a senator to fill out an expiring term?" I thought that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Now I don't know that I even want to do that.
I don't think I'd want to do that either. I'm sure that you've been approached a few times, but a few big organizations have approached me, and I've turned them down every time to run for Congress. It is not a fun job.
Not any. That's what I'm saying though. It's not anymore. Like, I used to think that I was in it for the right reasons and do all this stuff. And now, the grind, the way that the money that it takes, the different. So yeah, for those reasons, I'm out.
And it's evolved so much in the past. I like the Shark Tank thing. That's what threw me there.
Oh, yeah.
But like, things have evolved so much in the past, like just decades since you were in the White House to now.
Oh my God.
It's wild.
Crazy. But that's so funny. I mean, people ask me all the time what the difference between Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0 is, and the evolution of technology, of outlets. There's so much. I get asked a lot about the difference between the press room now and then, and the voices that are in the press room, the different outlets that are there, the correspondence, the way that the pool works. There's so much that has changed in a positive way that it really is. You realize, wow, that's only been 8 years.
Yeah. Let's talk book. You came over here to pimp a book.
I did. It's Trump 2.0, as I mentioned.
Where's my copy? We didn't bring one.
No, it's in the car, and
it's in the trunk.
Parking and traffic. It's no, I do. I have your QR code for you that you can order it on Amazon. In fact.
Oh, I can pay for it?
No, it's not.
We don't pay for books in this industry.
No, but in this case, it's for the cause. It's for the cause.
It's for the, yeah.
So here's the thing. I'll just real quickly, and by the way, go to Amazon right now.
Yeah.
Anybody who is one of your listeners, if you want to buy the book and you think I want to give this as a gift or I like signed books, because I know a lot of times I used to love to hoard books that I was signed or whatever. We'll send out a free book plate to anybody who orders it on Amazon in the next 7 days.
That's awesome.
Right, and you literally take a screenshot, send it to contact@SeanSpicer.com. I will send you a free book plate made out to you or maybe your political enemy or whomever you like or your mom. And Mother's Day is coming up. And most mothers say, when they asked in polls, reveal that they'd like a Sean Spicer book. It actually comes up in polls a lot.
That's understandable.
But the bigger point is, on the book, I wanted to make a point of why Trump 2.0 is different. And it's not just your standard sequential term, right? He had 4 years out of office to think about what will I do, who are the people that I'll bring in, what will I do policy-wise, process-wise. And to understand what happened in that 4 years to lay the predicate for this is critical to understanding why this term will be successful.
Yeah, no, and you're one of the few guys who left on a good term, right? And as opposed to everybody who writes these tell-alls that he hates.
Well, not just that, but you look at the book right now.
Yeah.
He wrote the foreword.
Oh, I didn't even know
you
that.
didn't see that in the red?
No, because you put it down. No, you sit down and you do this. All right, I got to do a book. I didn't even have a chance to look at the cover.
So
that's awesome.
He's endorsed my books in the past, but this time he proactively offered. He said, "Would you like me to write the foreword?" And I said, 100%.
So you're very unique, and I want to do a longer interview with you one day. I think we need to sit down and hang out and maybe I don't know if you drink or not, but grab a drink or whatever and hang out and talk about this. You went from comms at the RNC to comms at the White House. Now you're in media on the outside. And just that experience alone has to be so unique, right?
I was used to staffing people, right? And creating a strategy. Now, in a lot of cases, I have to think of it myself. Like, how am I going to talk about this book? Why am I going to write it? You're right. I went from being on interviews, staffing people on interviews, to doing the interviews. I got 2 shows on my YouTube channel, a live show every morning, 8:30 called The Huddle, and then the Sean Spicer show at night. It's just such a different dynamic for me, but I love it. I love going from advising people like how to talk about what they support and how to articulate that, to being able to talk about what I support and why I believe this. That's, a press secretary's job is to articulate the views and thoughts of somebody who's not available, right? I get to now say, here's what I think and why, and be a lot more active, which is kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, it's got to be wild. Was the RNC harder or the White House harder?
White House.
Really?
Well, look, when you are at the RNC, there's a level of public scrutiny, and obviously you get judged on your wins and losses rather. But when you're at the RNC, the entire world knows who you are. When you make a mistake, the world sees it. When you're representing the President of the United States, and so when you say something, the world reacts.
Yeah.
Pro and con, and and there's a level of intensity, Tim, that I don't think anybody. I used to joke. I'd known Ari Fleischer, Dana Perino's a good friend. I thought I'd be like C-SPAN 3 famous, where like political junkies were like, "Hey, you were the press secretary." To go to a point where some people love you and a lot of people hate you walking down the street is a very weird feeling to have. When you walk down the street, I went out to dinner last night, booth next to me, I couldn't even tell whether they were pro or con, which I'm usually pretty good at, but I could hear them talking about me and the people I was having dinner with, and that's
Yeah.
just a surreal experience to be like, why you're talking about me, and sometimes in a negative way, saying things about what you think of, and it's just a weird experience.
There was a time when, like, I think Ari Fleischer's time. I think Ari Fleischer can walk around town and nobody would bug him
He's
as
on
much.
Fox a lot, so
Yeah.
I think but you're right. I mean, that's.
But
what I'm saying.
SNL did you like? I mean, when they did that had to make things
It was
exponentially worse, right?
Like it blew up, like in
Yeah.
a way that there was one point at which Politico did a poll, and my name ID nationwide was 70%.
Wow.
I mean, which you think about how many people know the vice president, and so that tells you that there was a level of scrutiny and intensity that no one had ever seen before.
That's incredible. All right, so we're gonna go. I'll get this book.
Yep, Amazon right now.
And I think it's really cool that you're doing the signed book plates that people can
It's
get.
cool because
that is
you know
very
what?
cool.
When I do stuff, you were asking before, like there's stuff that I know I love. When I
Yes.
love politics, I love memorabilia. My wife thinks I'm a hoarder, probably borderline. And so I love signed books, and I like to give things to people who I know are fans. And so someone will say, "Oh, I love so and so online." I'll be like, "Let me see if I can get you like a copy of a book or something." So I know people love that. So I thought, hey, if not everyone can make it to a book signing or wants it quicker, so and I've told people, if you want, I have a website. If you want to actually send me the book, I'll sign that too. Send it back with a self-addressed envelope, and I'll send it back to you. But a lot of people, if you just order it now, I'll personalize it for you. I'll send you the bookplate. You stick it in it, and then
It's incredible.
Wow, you got a gift.
That's a hell of a deal. That's a hell of
Hell
a
of a deal.
I have a collection, by the way, from of signed books from a Salvation Army in Annandale.
No way.
Somebody apparently turned in all of their political signed books one day, and I bought about 30 or 40.
It's amazing. I'll tell you a funny story. You got 2 seconds?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm in the Oval Office a couple weeks back showing the president. One of the things when I was writing the book, Newt Gingrich had said to me, you need to read Art of the Comeback. Not Art of the Deal, Art of the Comeback. That's why it's important, because of you're writing this book, Trump 2.0, about the second term. You need to understand the comeback mentality that Trump had. So I go online to order it. They're like $300-400 a copy. So I go in, and when I went to the Oval Office, he said to the president, I brought the book with me. I go, do you remember this book? He said, of course I remember it. He's written like 15. And I go, do you know how expensive these are now online? Because everyone wants to read The Art of the Deal, but the scarcity of some of the books, and it was funny, he's looking at the book, he's like, really, how much do you think this was? And it was really cool because you know, some of these books you get, you probably look in this trove that you got, and one of the people hits, right? So think about how many people were reading Hillbilly Elegy, like after JD, and you're like, wow, I have a signed copy. It's pretty cool to think.
Yeah. No, I'm going to invest in that one day when the next time I do an interview with JD, I'm going to bring a bunch of those books.
I would.
Just get him to sign them.
Listen, every time I see the president, I'll have him sign something, and then I'm like, it's now worth thousands of
Can
dollars.
retire on it. Yeah. No, it's perfect.
I tell my wife, don't throw the stuff out, because you know how many things are probably worth.
How much stuff do you have signed? Because I know Wes Hunt had I want to say 400 items signed.
Who?
Wesley Hunt.
No
the
way.
congressman. He's got a stack. He's got stuff. He's got like a family photo that Trump was like, beautiful family, signed of his own of Wesley Hunt's family.
It's a good question, because I have a lot of cool things signed or notes that he sent to me saying,
Yeah.
Sean, check this out, which are I've kept, obviously.
That's the coolest thing, yeah.
There are some things that I think are pretty unique that we'll see how long before anyone notices they're missing. And but I'm never that's the thing. I don't want to sell any of this because
No.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But I have signs, I have books that he signed, pictures. There's a lot that he signed for me over the years, because I was on the campaign in 2015, 2016. But he would sign things or send me a note, and I've kept it all because I am a political hoarder.
One of my favorite photos, I have a big donor friend of mine who was at Mar-a-Lago for an event, and she took a picture with Trump. And she goes, you see what's happening with my hand here? And I'm like, what's happening? She was stealing a plate from Mar-a-Lago under her dress, and she's holding the plate, and he came up and took a photo with her. And so she's got that photo. I won't say who it is, but they can go find her. So she's got the plate on display with the photo.
So it's funny. I literally, when I take a photo with him of a book. So the other day he said to me, "Oh, do you want this pen?" I said, "Of course I want the pen."
Yeah.
And from a authentication standpoint, you've got the picture of him signing something. You've now got the pen that he signed it with.
You sound like me. This is how I like.
Oh yeah, but
my
I've
hoarders.
been around this enough like meaning that like memorabilia that I've learned from people, the way that you authenticate something as a picture.
Yep.
Then you've got the actual, so like, you know,
Yeah.
always selling. So
Speaking of,
I
have
was-
you signed that?
I did actually.
All right,
Right
there we go.
look at
They're
that.
all
Right
big
there.
in the middle. Good,
There
good.
you go. Let's see how much you can get for it.
Well, it's going to be on auction for the Fresno GOP actually for their
really
Lincoln Day
cool.
dinner. So that's,
That's
what
awesome.
we're doing. Yep.
All right, Tim.
Dude,
Thanks
thank you
a
so
lot.
much, man.
You
Go get the book. There you go. Thank you. Senator Schmidt, you have, I think you're the guy, and granted there were other attorney generals but you did a lot of the work to stop the Biden administration.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now we can relax a little bit, or do you think like we're on the precipice of this maybe coming back? Like where are we? Like because a lot of states that are run by Democrats are kind of subverting a lot of these legal issues, and then there's a lot of these appointees who are judges that are sitting around, these activist judges. I mean, where are we in our country right now as it kind of pertains to the work that you did to stop Biden back in the day?
Well, I think, look, you're right. We identified the censorship regime, and we brought that lawsuit, Missouri versus Biden, and were successful. The vaccine mandates, we halted that, which would have forced, that on 100 million people. Local school boards, we took that on. So I think in November of 2024, the fever broke, right? The American people recognize these abuses, and now it's about kind of playing offense. And I do think we have to continue to play offense.
Yeah.
They're in retreat, but they're not going away. I mean, they're already talking about some stuff that they'll do if they take back the House, or God forbid in 2028 they're successful. So
we see Virginia.
Right, exactly. And I think we have to recognize, and I try to express this to my colleagues, we got to know what time it is.
Yeah.
And they're not messing around. They want to add states to the union. They want to, have a permanent majority, and we've seen what they're willing to do with it. So we can't let up. I think mass deportations have to be part of the agenda. We have to, restore the rule of law. We can't simply accept the idea that 15 million people were let in here illegally and just not do anything about it. And so I think that that's a lot of what the debates are happening here. They want amnesty, and they want de facto amnesty. If they can't pass laws, they want to basically not allow ICE to do their jobs, and we have to not accept that.
I mean, how frustrating is it when you see, members of the House on the Republican side voting for like amnesty for these Haitians? It made no sense.
I don't get it, but it's not going anywhere. So for your audience, that's like dead on arrival. Listen, it's not going anywhere.
Good.
But it's, it is. We're going to have to continue to win this debate, right? Even among Republicans, because I just think we don't have just an illegal immigration problem. We have a legal immigration problem, right? We have these H-1B visas that are being issued. It's displacing white-collar workers. We have this OPT program that's displacing American students. So, we have to be on the offense here. And I think the people are with us. We just have to have the courage to stand up and fight back.
I know that you handled a lot of it when you were the Attorney General of Missouri. Now that you're in the Senate, the amount of fraud in this country.
Oh, yeah.
Does it shock you?
I think it's tip of the iceberg. I don't think we actually even know, and this isn't a good thing. I think it's terrifying. We don't even really know the depths of it, because look at all that money that went out the door during COVID. They didn't even care. They were extending deadlines. It didn't even have to have anything to do with COVID at the end of it. It was just they wanted to subsidize these inefficient blue state and blue city Democrats for their pet projects. And so look and see. I mean, all you have to do, Minneapolis, that is tip of the iceberg, and that's in the billions. You start getting into places like California and other places. So I think we've got to look at this a few different ways. We have to make sure we use technology to spot this on the front end. As an attorney general, it's hard to go after it on the back end, because these are fraudsters, usually they disappear, right? Yep. So use technology to say, wait a minute, we have 50 daycare centers in one industrial building in a place that nobody lives in. Maybe we ought to look at that, that kind of stuff. And then also, look, if you've got people like in Minnesota who are recently naturalized people, we ought to expand. I've got to build a scam act to say, if you defraud the American people, you commit a violent crime, we're going to denaturalize you and send you home. We got to change the incentive structure here.
Yeah, are we going to be able to accomplish that though? I mean, with both sides, it just seems like our side, we have the majority in both houses. Why are we just not able to get it through right now?
Well, some of it's legislative, but some of it's just actually enforcing the laws we have right now.
Yeah, that's another.
So, on the fraud piece, Vice President Vance is kind of leading that effort along with. We've got a new person at DOJ that person's job is to go find this stuff and root it out.
Yeah.
And committed, dozens and dozens of lawyers to go do it. So, I think that's where we're at. Look, should we be doing more? Yes. But we also have a lot of laws on the books right now that can be enforced that I think would go a long way.
I think getting rid of certain judges too. I mean, there's
many
activist judges.
Boasberg. I mean, I called for the impeachment of Judge Boasberg here in D.C. This guy is completely out of control. He was in the famous case where he asked ordered the planes to turn around on these deportations.
Yeah.
He was later ruled he has no authority to do that. The United States Supreme Court said he had no authority on it, but he continued to want to have these contempt hearings for Trump administration officials and throw them in jail. He was slapped down last week. That's the kind of case that the House of Representatives should vote to impeach, and we should have a trial in the Senate. Impeachment, and I don't say that lightly, we shouldn't impeach every judge we disagree with, but when you see that kind of abuse, that is what impeachment's for, and we should use it.
Last question for you, because I know we're tight on time here. Save America Act? Are we going to get it through?
I hope so. We got to spend the time on it. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
We have to spend the time on it. You've heard a lot of talk about the talking filibuster. I'm in support of it. I'm an original sponsor on it. Talked to the president. I'm the guy that has the 3 additional pieces. So we've got the 5 pieces right. Only Americans can vote in American elections. Photo ID, but then also in the mail-in balloting scams, stop boys competing in women's sports and get rid of this transgender mutilation of our kids. All that stuff polls 80-20, 90-10. We just got to spend the time on it, and that's my hope.
Yeah, same here. I hope you guys get it done. I know you're working hard, and I know you're one of the best ones that we've got over there. So thanks for being here, and we need your autograph on this guy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Hopefully we'll have more time some other time to hang out a little bit longer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, well,